Oh, the old HoN banter. Yay! Well, we're on time now. We're getting it started. We've had some friendly banter. By friendly banter, I think these teams hate each other. I'm not 100% though. I'm not going to speak for either of them, but just from what I was reading, it doesn't look like they have the best of relationships. That should make the game just a little bit more fun, right? Yeah. Yeah. That's probably the best. But we'll get into the bans. The blind bans are Wild Soul, Tempest, Ophelia, and Parasite. So, even with this patch coming up, which is something to note in this tournament, this is the first game, I believe, played in the patch for the CGI tournament. And of course, it is the finals too, so it's a bit of a change. But it looks like we're going with pretty standard kind of bans. One thing to note though, like in the locks, we do have a Slither. And Slither is one of those heroes that did get buffed, so it would be nice to see the Slither come out. And I'm really keen for, well, to see really how it worked out. And Lego was also put into that pool, but we've been seeing that a bit more recently, regardless. But what do you think about the rest of the locks, Dan? They're just pretty standard, don't you think? Yeah, so did get a fairly hefty buff, I believe, on the second move mainly. I'll look it up for you really quickly just to give you a bit. Okay, so yeah. Toxicity. And delays and whatnot in games. It's here. It should be a good one too. Hopefully we'll see something different just because of it, but you know, a lot of the scrims we've been seeing, the main thing that I guess that's changed around is jungle isn't necessary anymore, and a lot of the times, you know, the jungle, it can get really messed up with those 2 extra counter wards. I think that's been the biggest impact that I've seen. Tankafet's team learned that firsthand to Lions, actually one of the series that they played. They got 4 of the camps water, and Ophelia was level 1 until, I think, 4 minutes into the game. So it can be pretty brutal. But Tundra being picked up. Deadwood was the first pick. Tundra and Torture were the next picks from the Hellborn side, and I think Tundra is probably one of the strongest heroes in this current meta. A lot due to the way the vision works at the moment, and I just think it's going to be picked up a lot more competitively and in just pub play too.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that Tundra is one of those heroes that's sort of seesawed back and forth out of favour, or in and out of favour for competitive matches.
With the buffs and whatnot.
Yeah, with buffs, debuffs, incredibly powerful, sort of nerfed a little bit, you know, hit with that nerf bat.
Yeah, the nerf
as much.
nerf to the ground, really, and it got pretty munted. Like, there's still the ability, the ability for the vision with the bird is the main thing with Tundra now, and that's what makes it stand out compared. It used to be just, you know, its stats, its general stats were amazing, but now it's the bird in itself is the thing that stands out the most. And of course, the lockdown's really nice too. But we see Disham and Armadon picked up. Armadon is one of those heroes that I've actually seen a lot of lately. Like, it really has picked up in the competitive scene. I think Lions was the one that really brought it to the attention of everyone, and then teams have been picking it up on and off, and it's had a pretty successful run. I've seen it shut down a couple of times, I've seen it just take off a couple of times, but I think it's one of those heroes that really needs that early farm to snowball into something just a monster, really.
Now, Seraphic Nexus obviously going to pick their have their last pick from the open pool, and from what we got in the lock pool, I assume they're going to pick up some sort of carry here for Gimli. You see him right-clicking that Oogie. I'd love to see an Oogie.
Oogie. He's insane. That hero is insane.
Obviously, as he scales up, his farming potential starts picking up as well. There's a right-click vertical. You see right-clicking that Pearl there. Could be interesting to see a Pearl. The first time we'd see a Pearl in sort of a competitive match as well.
Again, with the patch, brings these new heroes, and Pearl is definitely one of them that everyone's been looking at, and Oogie has been mentioned a lot. But Soul Reaper ends up getting picked up, and I had a bit of a talk to you about this one earlier, because we saw Soul Reaper a lot at the end of the previous, or just pre-patch. We saw it a lot, and then they buffed it, and I really feel it was already, like, verging on God tier, and now that they've buffed it, I think it's just insane. The hero is so powerful, and the amount of mana that you can regen, I think level 2 regen with 10 charges is around 280 mana. I can't 100% remember, but that is it's a really, really big buff.
Yeah, definitely. And we've seen you mentioned as well, you're a big fan of Alonia since the patch.
Oh, damn right, yeah.
And Soul Reaper going up against that Alonia in the runic shift, of course, just didn't really show off Alonia's best points, because Soul Reaper just absolutely dominated that middle lane, I believe, and just went on to become a very, very powerful hero. But both teams, they got a lot of that sort of sustained damage. You look at that Armadon, you look at that Soul Reaper, Torturer, they're going to have a bit of push potential in there as well. Rally, Seishi playing that Rally potentially in a Suicide role as well. I know you're a big fan of the Suicide Magnus or the Suicide Rally, sort of instead of that mid lane, but I guess we'll see how we go. The final lineups being that Glacius, Deadwood, Demented Shaman, Armadon, and Keeper, going up against Aluna, Tundra, Soul Reaper, Torturer, and that Rally. So as we sort of enter the start of the game, do you feel that one side is a little bit stronger than the other to begin with, or?
It's really hard to say. I personally am going to have to give this one to the Hellborn, just in strength of their team. I feel they're going to have just a overall better laning phase, and on top of that, I just think the power of the Soul Reaper and the Tundra is going to be just huge this game, really. I honestly don't think Soul Reaper can lose laning phase 1v1. I think it is impossible for a Soul Reaper now to lose laning phase 1v1. On top of that, it's up against Keeper, which Soul Reaper was the one that really destroyed Suicide Keeper. It didn't, like, pull it out of the game, but it definitely made people think about picking it up a couple of times.
We see a four-man roam in that bottom lane.
Yeah.
ZUTE scouting it out, though, with that courier.
There is the courier change as well.
Yeah, the courier change as well. It takes, I think, 3 ranged hits to kill it, and the cooldown on the
Glacius actually got jumped onto here. Glacius is probably going to drop. Sorry about that.
No,
beautiful compel from Rally, and and just taken out a power snipe, and obviously Rally gets the last hit and gets credit for that kill. So if Rally is run suicide, which is quite a possibility, he's going to have a really good time in this bottom lane, just because of that early lead. I think he might be up against a tri-lane, so... Do you think it'll be aggressive tri-lane versus aggressive tri-lane? Oh, sorry, passive tri-lane? I think...
We could see the a return of the tri versus tri-lane.
Yeah.
And, we see the niceness coming out. The good luck, have fun, of course. They've got the ward in the lane, so they could try and get another cheeky kill off onto this Glacius, but with ZUTE being so tightly stacked with an Armadon and that Demented Shaman, unlikely they'll get a second kill straight away. So they'll just get into the old farming.
Yeah, well, definitely. Again, this is something that the patch has brought us, really. We see tri-lanes have picked up in popularity, and I think the main thing is there's no jungler on either side. And I think a lot of that is due to the fact that the jungle can just get so destroyed by the wards. It's really hard to put a jungler in there, especially with the junglers that they had. They had, you know, Lego and Keeper that really relied on some of those easier camps.
Is that countered somewhat by the Rev wards being available at level, you know, at the 0-minute mark?
I think, in my opinion, like my complete opinion, I think it makes it harder. It's harder to counter ward a ward than to ward a camp, because there's so many more places you can put a ward in a camp. So having the 4 wards definitely benefits the person that's going up against the jungler.
Okay. So this bot lane we're going to have to keep an eye on, because there's going to be plenty of action there. The middle lane though, we got Tundra versus Deadwood, and we look at those creep kills, 4-7 versus the 3-1. So Deadwood having a slight advantage here, especially when it comes to those denies, but pretty much expected with that Oak Bolt, of course, that increased auto attack, and Tundra pushed up a little bit because of it. Top lane, you mentioned Soul Reaper versus that Keeper, and you see that Soul Reaper already getting some charges on that in Human Nature, and that's going to be a lot easier for him to just keep, for Gimli to keep spamming those judgments.
Oh, well, definitely. He has used a lot of mana already, but that is, of course, harass the Keeper back. The Keeper is doing a pretty good job. Obviously got lane control, as you'd expect from a Keeper, and is doing, has got a couple of creep kills, sitting at 9-1 as opposed to Soul Reaper sitting at 10-3. So, as you'd expect, Soul Reaper doing slightly better, but Keeper not having too much trouble in this lane.
Just trying to stay in Viz and stay in the lane itself. Soul Reaper not going that Withering Presence, of course, not really that useful early on, trying to get the mana, trying to get the judgments happening, and they're just going to trade a couple of
Blaze
blows.
just actually got jumped on at bottom lane. A Rally Compel comes out, and there's so much damage from this aggressive tri-lane. Armadon's taking a beating at the moment, but he should be able to walk on out of there.
Luna has a power throw, baiting it out, or baiting out Armadon to try and sidestep it. Ends up not throwing the power throw in the end, just using that mana battery to get mana and get ready for it. Maybe deciding not really worth wasting it just yet. They won that comfortably, no need to get greedy.
Yeah.
So if you're just joining us, it is the CyberGamer Invite League final match, or finals, best of 5. We got Seraphic Nexus versus Being Ian, aka Frey, aka ZUTE. Gone through a lot of name changes this team. And obviously sponsored by Nonfiction Gaming. Seishi actually jumping in on that rally, trying to do a lot of damage to that Glacius. The Arcane Hide coming out, and the heal's not going to be enough, though, as you mentioned, just so much damage. Rally will fall in return, though, and Armadon could be in a little bit of trouble, especially if Luna can get a good power throw off, and we'll be able to snipe that kill onto Roger Dodger. So, very exciting match so far, 1-4, especially with this try versus try lane in that bottom lane.
This comes down to the laning presence of just, I really feel that a Luna Rally does so much more damage than the DS Glacius. Obviously, a lot comes down to how well the Rally has landed these stuns and just set up everything, really. But Armadon just, it has damage, but it doesn't feel consistent, especially with the mana batteries countering it so much. As opposed to, you know, Rally putting out that stun straight away and then just having immense amounts of burst with the Torturer and the Aluna to follow up. But again, I mentioned earlier, I do think that Armadon has to snowball to do well, and he's having a pretty rough start. So right now, definitely on the back foot. But again, with the meta changes, kills on heroes that are farming better, and just kills in general mean a lot more. So that's why you're seeing a lot more action, as you'd expect.
So potentially we're not going to see as much of a sit back and rice farming game, but then again, we don't really have the heroes for that. As you said, yep. Armadon probably needs to snowball a little bit to be really effective. He does have damage, but it isn't consistent, especially, as you said, with those mana battery just stacking up those charges so quickly. We see Aluna is pretty much able to get half her mana pull back. Top lane, Keeper of the Forest in a lot of trouble. If I was him, I'd probably just back off and go back to base and heal up. I mean, he's going to try and leech some XP, but while that's happening, Soul Reaper's just gaining more charges. And it looks like he did use the Demonic Execution, but didn't get the kill in the end.
Doing a lot of work at the top lane, as you'd expect. Unfortunately, didn't get the kill. That, Keeper of the Forest does still have that huge health pool. But Keeper, as you'd expect, getting the levels, has level 6. I'd expect to see Keeper roam very shortly with that level 6. So I really don't think, unless someone comes up to this lane, Keeper can't kill that Soul Reaper. There is no way. Soul Reaper has 8 charges on that Inhuman Nature, which is almost full mana. And, yeah, again, as I said, look at that mana. It is... I've got no other way to put it. It's OP.
Deadwood is coming top, though, with a regen rune and that Keeper ulti. They do take that Soul Reaper down, though, so Gimli, unfortunately, getting caught out. No vision in that top ward area to stop that Deadwood, and that's really what that Keeper needed. Bot lane, though, a lot of action coming in. Chain reaction stun coming out from Torturer as they take down the Demented Shaman. Looks like Armadon could fall here as well, especially with that impalement doing so much damage. Glacius probably going to get into the trees. It could be okay here. Does get another chain reaction stun. Compel going in the wrong direction. And because of that, Torturer goes down. Rally goes down as well. Five's getting double taps on the Glacius. And a Luna not hitting the power throw, I don't believe. So I'm not 100% sure what happened there. Seraphic Nexus, big
must have been a misclick. That must have been a misclick. That was really unfortunate. Rally just got 2 of them killed from one misplay there. It was pretty funny to watch, though, at least.
Yeah, keeps it entertaining.
That's exactly what... They really needed that mistake to happen, to be honest. Fives, again, has been behind for the most part. They're still behind on gold, but it evened up the experience, and it definitely closed the gap on gold. It is only a 2k lead now, rather as opposed to the 4k lead they had before. And again, this allows, Armadon to pull himself back into the game. It gave some levels to the... Glacius and the DS, I believe. And in saying that, Armadon's still level 4. So, definitely not having the best of times down in this bottom lane.
Armadon struggling, 24-6 versus the 29-7 rally. But you got to factor in those hero kills as well, and hero kills are a much bigger factor now. Armadon being on 1 and 2, Rally being on 1 and 2 as well. But those supports, you look at that gold per minute, Rally, Tundra, and Soul Reaper are right up there. Deadwood's still top farmer in the game, though, dominating this this middle lane. He is going to port bottom, it looks like, and pop that Invis rune, which is taking him a little while to get there. He is going to walk right past a Ward of Revelation, though, so Seishi dropping that Ward of Rev surely knows that this Deadwood is coming.
Well, definitely, and they are sticking back exactly what they need to do. What I'd like to see here is maybe a ward come up, and the courier is being used at the moment, but hopefully a ward can come up and they can get a kill. But Deadwood, smelling something fishy, is just going to head back to that middle lane, not wanting to waste any time. He's actually going to head around, so they definitely want to open up on this bottom lane.
And with that, Armadon, of course, the perfect hero to try and jump in on that tower. They got the creeps with him as well. Deadwood just going to go right out and grab that rally. Huge Falcon Punch, and it looks like the teleport's coming in, but it is very slow, you got to remember. Tundra jumping in, trying to take counter onto this Deadwood here. Torturer going to survive for that a little bit longer. Not actually all that longer, though, because Armadon taking a bit of a beating, throws out those spines. It is going to be a 2-for-2 exchange, though, in the end. Deadwood, Armadon for a Torturer rally. Pretty... even kill, I'd say, to a certain extent. You probably didn't want to lose that Deadwood, though, seeing as he was on such a good start.
Yep. It definitely was in the favour of SNX for the hero kills, but they did have to use a port on it. It's hard to say who came out on top, but again, you've got this Tundra that's getting levels, getting gold, getting experience from everything here, and that's definitely not what you want to see. As opposed to the Deadwood, who's already done pretty well. Gone top, obviously set up that kill with the Keeper of the Forest ulti. Keeper.
Ooh, Rally actually going in onto Shaman. Bottom lane, chain reactions followed up by that Torturer. They've got to try and get out of there, though. Torturer ends up getting taken out. Vertical overstaying is welcome. Rally's going to try and use that hatchet to cut through. Taking his time doing it, though, of course, as it was. The hatchet itself was on cooldown, I believe. And ends up getting taken out by Fives. So Glacius becoming an ultimate warrior here, 4-3. Boosting that farm up a fair bit, 193 gold per minute, whereas it looks like Demented Shaman right at the bottom of the rungs there, 82.
Yeah, well, look how much levels Glacius is getting from just being experience range for these kills. That's one of the bigger things about the change, what changed the meta around a lot, is the fact that hero kills give so much more experience, and I believe it gives a bit of team gold around the place as well. But yeah, Glacius is definitely keeping up in these levels, and obviously you've got this poor D-Sharms that has been picked off pretty much every fight before the kills can happen.
Sorry, top lane, Keeper of the Forest ends up going down, Port coming in, but obviously coming in quite slowly again on that tier 1 tower. Soul Reaper not in a position to get out just yet. Deadwood could be throwing out that Rotten Grasp, gets out that punch as well. Under the tower range, tower not changing its target, doesn't need to, as Rally pretty powerless to do anything there.
Didn't really have Compeller?
He did have Compel, so he possibly could have compelled the... Can you compel? You
can't compel out. You can't compel out.
Okay. He could have compelled over the Deadwood, though.
Yeah, he could have, but I believe he walked into the Immobilize, unfortunately, so that's what stopped him compelling as well. And of course, Soul Reaper was in the Immobilize straight up, so couldn't be compelled out.
Okay.
But it was a bit of a misplay there. Saishi was definitely in the position to compel over and stun the Deadwood, just unfortunately walked in there and and got trapped as well.
Shout out to HoN in the chat, Mr. King Dry Hump himself, and the rest of you guys tuning in. Of course, we've seen Chimpy elusively. I'm sure there's a start in there somewhere. There's action in that bottom lane. Keeper Root getting cancelled, or at least getting delayed by the Avalanche there. Huge pull in, and Rally ends up jumping in onto that Keeper. The Keeper Root still goes out. Armadon in a lot of trouble, only with a life tube, certainly not taking enough, and the vision from that Shiver going to help keep him in the sights of Seraphic Nexus. Seri picking up that kill. So they end up losing 2. Unfortunately, a lot of that due to the fact that Keeper of the Forest mid-animation getting cancelled by that Avalanche.
Yeah, it was a great Avalanche. The ulti from Tundra definitely put the fight in their favour from the beginning. The Armadon, pretty underfarmed, didn't really have enough to tank any of the damage, and the Legion side just had to fall back there. And the leader, again, continues to favour the Hellborn side. In saying that, Deadwood did pick up the PK, so Deadwood's still doing quite well at 350 gold per minute. A Tundra being involved in all these fights and getting kills, hasn't died once yet as well, is doing the best in the game at 415 GPM. But again, if you kill someone that has a higher GPM, that's where you get more money, I believe now. That was one of the changes. So, you know, if they do get a pick onto this Tundra, that could be a huge boost, and that's what the Legion side is going to be looking for.
So sort of sitting back, both teams kind of resetting here, warding up each other's jungles. Look at Soul Reaper, Gimli doing a bit of the old farming trick with that Judgment, getting huge amounts of mana back. 48 mana per charge.
480 mana with 10 charges, and you can just hold them. And you can also give them to your allies as well. Again, I can't stress to you how OP I think this changes, man.
Mid lane, Keeper trying to get a bit of farm up for himself. He's just got his steam booties, and obviously his hatchet. I missed that Aluna actually getting taken out, unfortunately, as from that Deadwood making work of that shiny new portal key. And Torturer, Soul Reaper do not want to give this up, though. Deadwood looks like going to get invised at the last second with that bit of armor, and we have lost Mangy, unfortunately. While we try and get him back, we'll just go over a bit of what's happening. 10 to 12. Remember, it is Being In versus Seraphic Nexus, first game of the evening of best of 5. We've got here gold per minute charts. We've got that Tundra right at the top there, 394 gold per minute. Soul Reaper 351, and Rally 332, obviously right up there with that Deadwood. Deadwood's been making a lot of work recently, 3-1. Tundra though, 3-0. So Tundra actually ends up going that Soul's Bulwark ahead of the Portal Key. Now we've usually seen that Tundra go Portal Key as a great initiation item, but as soon as we get Mangy back, I'll actually have to get his opinion on that because he knows a lot more about it than I do, and I could ask the chat, but you guys aren't going to see it for another 6 minutes. But that's all good. See if we can get Mangy back on the call. Guess not. That's right, 16.5 minutes in. Both teams trying to get a bit of vision of each other here. Armadon being a bit cheeky. Obviously getting spotted out by that bird, the Shiver. And both teams are getting awfully wary of being out of position. While this is happening though, Keeper of the Forest seems to be saving up here. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get a Portal Key for himself and just sort of double that initiation for the Legion side. Mid lane though, Rally will go down to that Deadwood, and that's the initiation I was talking about. That Portal Key, Falcon Punch combo proving too powerful even for the Rally. Then again, Rally just has a Portal Key and Phase Boots for himself, so not the tankiest hero just yet. And it is 11-12, so being in, trying to close this gap, and a lot of it having to do with that Deadwood. If they could buy some more time for that Armadon to pick up a little bit of farm, as he is doing a little bit of free farming in that bottom lane, he should be able to get back into this game. Do we have Mangy back?
Oh.
What happened to you? Hello?
Good old crash. Sorry about that. Loading back in now.
All good. Did you get S2'd?
No, I got... My brother was... something to do with the power, and he went and turned off the power, and it accidentally hit my room switch as well on the fuse box. Nice, fun times. I'm coming back into it now, so shouldn't have missed too much. Anything extreme happen?
Well, we got, there was a bit of kills. Obviously, this Deadwood with the brand new Portal Key, making himself felt, taking out that Rally in the mid lane. Keeper of the Forest has farmed up enough to get a Portal Key for himself, so doubling that initiation there. You've got to look at the Hellborn team though. Rally's got his Portal Key. Doesn't really have any other items to help him survive. Only got 1,000 health essentially. Tundra's got a Portal Key and Plated Greaves, so that's going to help him. You see a couple of Plated Greaves on that Hellborn team just to protect against the Demented Shaman, Armadon, and that Deadwood, obviously stacking a lot of physical damage and a lot of nuking physical damage as well. Not just those auto attacks.
Yeah. I don't know, I would have liked to see a Helm of the Black Legion go onto this rally. It looks like he's actually going to go for a Souls as well, whereas Tundra's already got one, so I really hope they communicate that and don't get caught out there.
It wouldn't be a barbed armor? Would you expect a barbed armor on a rally? Portal Key in from Tundra actually onto that Glacius, trying to take out fives, ends up taking out his ultimate warrior streak. Deadwood trying to turn it around onto Seishi, and obviously Rally will fall again, so it ends up being Glacius for Rally at the moment with Tundra in a lot of trouble. Not sure Seraphic Nexus thought this one through, or the fact that being in was a little bit more close by than they were expecting. Portal Key in from Keeper. He's going to catch 3 of them. Gimli and Wally. Wally's actually going to get targeted by that Rotten Grass. A couple of auto attacks coming out with that Judgment. Gimli's going to be able to clean up a kill onto that Keeper of the Forest. And it looks like they'll keep that Aluna alive long enough to drive the Legion team back. Deadwood actually getting awfully low. And I think that Judgment just missed. Yeah. I'm not sure if it would have been enough, but unfortunately just missing up the hill. Well, it wasn't because it was uphill. I think it was just on the edge of range, and Deadwood will fall back.
Yeah. I think a lot of that came down to the ward that Fives has actually got up on the hill. I'm not sure if you noticed, but Wally put a counter ward down. Obviously thought he was a bit safer there, didn't know that everyone had vision. Rally was sitting in the corner right in vision of Fives' ward. And the Legion side knew exactly what was going on the entire time. And the Hellborn felt it because of it.
He's going to have a bit of a pause.
Good Good old pause breaks. But as I said before, you know, Rally dropped incredibly fast. I think that's a lot due to a Rally rushing that PK. And I don't know if you agree, but I don't think it was necessary, especially with the Tundra getting a PK as well. Tundra already had that PK. You already had that, like, pretty good initiation. And Rally stuns, you know, he could even stun the Tundra the PK's in. I don't think it was necessary to go so squishy and add some more initiation. But hopefully he does build up something that gives him a bit of armor or tankiness. If he does go that Souls, you said he could go a barbed? He could go a barb, but you know, a Rally with 1100 health with a barbed, it's not going to do a great deal.
Would be interesting to see the new Elder Parasite come out, especially on something like a Rally. I think could be very powerful.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Or a Deadwood. I think the Elder Parasite and the Deadwood would be sweet.
Guess we'll have to wait and see. If you guys hear us in the next 6 minutes.
Yeah. Well, he didn't have to solo cast for long. I tried to get back in straight away. Went and punched my brother in the dick. Looking at the rest of the items, actually, just quickly, while we've got this pause still going, Aluna did go full treads, which is something that SG definitely advocates. Doesn't have much else. Looks like he's going for a Cyclone Stick if he can afford it, but again, at the rate that this game's going, especially with Legion pulling themselves back into it, he's probably not going to farm that anytime soon. Game is going underway. Glacius and this Torturer are dangerously close to each other.
Torture, that's an illusion.
Okay, I was gonna say it was behind the trees. My bad. But
on that note, you're talking about Aluna. She looks like, as you said, going for that Cyclone Stick first. Obviously, great counter to that Deadwood initiation. As long as you know your ally doesn't get one shot by the Falcon Punch, you can boost them up in the air. At least they survive the Rotten Grasp, and usually the follow-up as well. Having said that, though, is something like a Tablet Command a better item this early to try and get some stats on her, try and keep her alive, because you know she's under 1,000 health herself. Potentially moving, you know, tableting people out of that Keeper ulti, or moving people into better positions, things like that, could be a bit of a better.
I think it would have been a better option.
Yeah.
Especially, they did have a lot of momentum at the start, and I think they expected to keep that momentum. With them losing that, you know, well, definitely could have gotten the Cyclone Stick early on if they kept the momentum. But again, really nice fights from the Legion side, pulling them back into this game and making this Luna suffer a little bit. So could even change around the items now. It does have just that Neophytes book, so it's not like it's got a major part to the Cyclone Stick that's indisposable. Just that Scarab. These runes is another thing that I'd like to mention, that, you know, the refreshment rune was just picked up by the Rally there, but there's still that regen rune at top, which they, well, Seri, with the bird gives vision, complete vision. Gimli just bought an item. Looks like he's going for the Shivers. Frostfield Plate. Does have that armor item first. Had 3k, so must have bought something else along with that too.
Now, we've talked about Frostfield Plate as well. It looks like they're just going this Soul Reaper as tanky as possible, just trying to stay alive.
Deadwood actually jumping on this Rally. Ult coming out. There goes the Keeper route as well. Rally's going to die. It looks like Deadwood's just going to head out of there. Torture unfortunately missing the stun. And Deadwood's just going to walk out with that passive, the Tree Walk ability.
And while that's happening, the rest of the Legion team actually pushing this middle tower again. It is going to be defended. It looks like they are popping the fortification, but they're not going to get there in time. And of course, porting to a tier 1 tower just takes so much longer now. It's a lot harder to defend. Armadon's picked up that barrier rattle, so gone from being a bit of a squishy target at the start of the game to obviously that tanky presence which we come to expect from that Armadon, and has recovered nicely in his farm, 339 gold per minute.
Yeah, well, Definitely doing a lot better. Again, you've got that Soul Reaper that's doing amazingly, 450 GPM, has picked up that Shivers, I believe, on the courier and is getting that delivered. So we'll have the Frostfield plate for next fight. Also has the Gnome's Wisdom and the Astrolabe, so really tanky with the Soul Reaper. A lot of heals coming out in that character alone. The Ancients are getting stacked and killed at the moment, but the Ancient buff obviously makes them a lot harder to kill and taking a bit more time. It's a bit more of a team effort now, going to kill the triple stack Ancients or stacked Ancients at all. It's not something that just your carry can do solo.
Even if it is artillery.
Yeah, artillery
struggles a little bit.
It's still going to struggle a little bit.
But you've got to look at this game from what it was one-sided, Seraphic Nexus being in the lead earlier. 14-14, 24.5 minutes in. It is only game 1 of 5, or best of 5, I should say. But you know, Seraphic Nexus starting to lose this this strong lead that they had, especially with that Armed On, that Deadwood becoming more powerful with that initiation, obviously with those tankier items. Deadwood actually finishing his demonic breastplate there. And the Hellborn team, no big items coming out just yet, apart from that Soul Reaper picking up that Frostfield plate.
Yeah, Soul Reaper definitely. The only one that's really continued to keep up that immense amount of farm. You've got this Tundra that does have some pretty big items, but hasn't really changed too much. Still holding a decent GPM at 330, but again, it's slowed down a lot. Their momentum definitely got crushed a little bit, especially from that mid-fight. That's where the game really turned around. And, you know, it really came down to just the vision that they had. So really well played with that vision. Vertical and Wally doing a great job of keeping vision up, but Fives also has vision up around the map too, so both teams know exactly where each other are. The eye nerf as well is something to mention. It's a lot easier to keep vision up with that eye nerf. So we haven't seen an eye picked up yet, and it's hard to say whether it's worth spending 700 gold at this point in the game on an eye, especially when it doesn't give consistent vision. I think it would probably be worth it more for the Hellborn side, especially with that Keeper of the Forest. Luminous just messaged me, and he actually asked me to talk about Lex, which is something I was going to do before I disconnected. That Lex item hasn't been picked up on either side, and I think it's particularly strong, especially like for a build-up support item. It definitely could have been in place of that Cyclone stick, gives that passive armor and the offensive ability. But as I talk about this, top tower does drop to the Armadon, Keeper, and Glacius. Deadwood's around in invis, so you know the Legion side has to be very careful. There is no vision up at the moment. So sorry, Rev vision up at the moment. So Deadwood's gonna safely walk around in invis, trying to find someone, maybe pick them off.
Yeah, if he runs into this this Soul Reaper, I think Soul Reaper should be fine. But if he runs into this Tundra, or you know, especially this Torturer who's only got that Sacrificial Stone, does not really have any big ticket items at the moment. He is cruising around
the rally
everywhere he can. Yeah, the rally does
only
pick
has
up a broad,
1200 HP.
He just picked up a broadsword, I believe, so he might be going for a barbed armor there. He is going to get punched on though. The double ulti coming out from the double tree.
I don't even think the double ulti was needed. He doesn't have life. He's at 1200 HP. Double ulti did secure the kill though, but it is going to, you know, probably stop a team fight happening in the near future, just because they're going to be down that that core Keeper ulti, I guess. And the Keeper nerf was the ulti cooldown did get increased as well. So that's something else to mention.
We see here the Hellborn team actually porting bot. Soul Reaper joining the party, so there's going to be 4 of them, but nothing actually going to come of it. They're not in a position to initiate. The initiation obviously is quite superior on that Legion team with the big lockdowns. You see Rally and Tundra with those portal keys, but they haven't really had an opportunity to make anything of them yet. We haven't seen any big portal key in with an avalanche rally seismic stun over the top or anything like that. We're not seeing these double ults like we're seeing from the Legion team, and if Legion just keeps getting those picks off, being Ian is going to push ahead as they are they're only 500 gold behind at the moment. So it's very easy for them to turn this game around.
Yeah, the game is definitely not in anyone's favor in particular right now. Both teams are getting really even right now, just dead center. The action's definitely slowed down a little bit. Both teams are trying to get some picks off, but in and out, that's pretty much all they're doing. One and done, as Emperor would say. Just keeping up the vision and working on getting some picks while farming. Keeping... Tundra picks up that haste rune. Deadwood goes for the punch, but couldn't get the haste rune in time and just backs off out of there. Choosing not to risk it. Rally actually jumps on that D-Charms at top, but again, nothing's going to come of that one. Needs to be a bit careful. Keeper is in the top lane, so you do see the Rally and the Soul Reaper both back off a little bit. It's like Soul Reaper might be going for his Sheep Stick or something similar to that. I'd expect a Sheep Stick, and I really would. I think the Hellborn side could benefit from a Sheep Stick more than anything right now. That is included with the Blessed Orb, of course. Luna just running around, getting a couple of stacks up. The port's coming in bot. Is that 3 ports? 3 ports coming in bot, so Glacius. Glacius in a lot of trouble right now. Does sense something is coming. The power throw does hit, and there's the burn. There is no getting away for this Glacius. Tundra ult comes out, and Glacius is going to fall.
Five's playing a little bit out of position there. Really pushed up. No vision in the jungle. Not that they came from the jungle, but I guess they did have the lane ward up there.
He knew they were coming. Like, he should have seen the ports and gone. Like, the fact that he didn't leave straight away was a huge misplay. It looks like they're going to go and do a Kong attempt with that pick. It's not like it was the most important pick in the world, though, so I really feel the Legion can defend this. And Glacius is coming up in 10 seconds as well.
Kong is dropping pretty quickly, though, especially Tundra with double damage, Soul Reaper, Torturer, obviously with that impalement, and they're going to red power throw out. Legion team knows something is up, and there's going to be a pause coming out just as Keeper of the Forest actually disconnects.
Time's out. Yeah.
Time's out. And he's actually back in the well as well. I believe he must have run back.
That's a free Kong now from that timeout. They didn't have vision of the Kongor. I believe they knew something was up. They've got that lane ward mid, but they didn't know that they were in the Kongor pit, and they definitely don't know how low it is. But Kongor's going to drop for free, and especially with that Keeper DC, nothing's going to come of. There's going to be no fights there.
That's really what the Hellborn team needed. While the game does look very even at the moment, getting that pick off... Oh, Rally... Popping that barbed armor as he gets rotten grasped. Does not want to get jumped on. As you said, he only has 1,200 gold. Keeper of the Forest going to keep Portal Key in, though, only catching 2 of them. Maluna being just out of range. Avalanche going on onto that Deadwood, still available. Torture in a lot of trouble getting poured into the Glacial Downpour. Soul Reaper doing what he can. He does have that token of life, but he's out of mana at the moment. Still trying to do some damage maybe onto this Deadwood. And a Luna Torture end up going down for that Hellborn team. Deadwood will fall for the Legion team. And Glacius should be on the run now, I believe, as Rally could still be in a position to snipe out another kill here, especially because they have that Ward of Rev on the ground, so it's not like Keeper of the Forest can invis them out.
What was Glacius doing?
Glacius ended up going down there. Tundra in a lot of trouble, ends up getting sheep sticked, it looked like. As Keeper of the Forest actually has a sheep stick. We're seeing a lot of action here. Tundra and Demented Charmin go down, so it is a 3 for 3 at the moment, although it looks like Rally could go down here as well. Compels back and gets a great kill onto the Keeper of the Forest. It is just the Armadon now, but Rally's going to get out of range enough to get that portal key off, and Armadon going to teleport out of there. So quad kill coming out for Gimli on that Soul Reaper. That's the power of the Soul Reaper right there.
Didn't bust the token either.
And he's still got the token. As you said, he's picked up another Acolyte Staff.
So going for the Sheep Stick.
This is going to be huge. This is Soul Reaper's not Soul Reaper's debut by any means, but just shows how powerful a hero he's become with the latest patch, and obviously in the hands of someone like Gimli as well, just doing great work.
And look how much levels he got from the kills there. That's something huge to know. He went from, I think it was level 16 to 20 from that team fight. Just being involved in all the kills. The importance on these kills in this current meta. It does bring the action, but, you know, one team fight definitely turns a match.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Macedonia in the chat there, from the old Garlic Sauce crew, one of the Aussie teams, of course, who I don't believe took part in the CyberGamer League, but I've been around scrimming and things like that, and hopefully we're going to see some more of them as well, potentially next season. And you are watching the CyberGamer Invite League. We are just about 34 minutes in now, 18 to 19, slightly in favour of Seraphic Nexus. The gold lead's starting to get a little bit higher as well, 4,500, and they're probably ready to group up and push again. Still got 4 minutes on the token. And we saw the power of that Soul Reaper, just that constant barrage of damage. I don't think they even bothered focusing him just because he's just too hard to kill.
He had the token there and he had no mana, so they thought leaving him would be the best idea. Unfortunately, they suffered for that one. And it looks like the Hellborn side's going to stack up for a push on this mid tower. I'd expect they're going to get this with no congestion.
Congestion.
There's a word there. There's a word there. I tried to sound smart and probably sounded retarded, but that's alright.
It's alright. You're crushing it, mate. You're crushing it.
I'm allowed to. I'm tired. I'm gonna just blame everything on me being tired right now. We do see Armadon pick up that behemoth heart, so Armadon just increasing the amount of health and just tankiness overall that he has. Doing quite a good job. Highest farmer of the Legion side, as you would expect, at 400 GPM. But it really doesn't compare to the 500 GPM that Gimli has over on the Hellborn side, on that Soul Reaper. So doing a great job there.
You got to remember though as well, that Soul Reaper being on 500 gold per minute, picking up a quad kill. If they can somehow bring him down, especially since the new patch, that is going to shift massively because of the extra gold they'll be getting from that.
Yeah, and the amount of experience.
Yeah.
Again, hero kills are so important. So important in the change.
You look at Soul Reaper just walking right up to that Armadon, does not care. The rest of the Legion team's ready to go. Sheepstick coming out onto that Demented Shaman. Rally's actually going to compel himself in as well and throw that Barbed Armor up. He is on the front lines. Tundra ready to go with that Avalanche, not popping it just yet. It looks like a Luna will fall, and Torturer taking a lot of damage in that Keeper route. Armadon, Keeper of the Forest, and that Deadwood are on the back foot here, trying to run out of there. OMFG actually, Rally missing that Seismic Slam or cancelling it as he got Sheepsticked. Deadwood still could be in a lot of trouble though, ends up getting taken down by Gimli, who is now Savage Sick. Keeper of the Forest not able to get out of here just now. Portal Key still on cooldown. And it looks like Armadon's going to fall. Roger Dodger ends up getting taken out. Gimli getting a double tap, absolutely dominating.
Still has the token too. So I'd expect after that Keeper got out, they will just go for a push now. The Soul Reaper, going big. Really tanky, has that early farm, and is just doing so much work right now. The Sheepstick, they've got a Demonic on both sides, so pretty even there.
Now Rally's starting to get a little bit more health with the Beast Heart, but it's getting down to that point where it's really just that Soul Reaper who actually gets compelled in. Very aggressive there. Demented Shaman will fall. Cold Shoulder being used by that Tundra, probably not needed, but Seishi picking up the kill with that demoralizing Roar. The tower goes down, and nothing the Legion team can really do with that Deadwood down.
Until Armadon comes back up, they can't defend this, and it just means a free racks for the Hellborn side. I think the Legion's happy to leave that one go, but if a second one falls, they're going to be in a lot of trouble, and it's going to be super hard to get back into this game. As it stands now, I think that just one racks down isn't going to bother them too much. Looks like the Hellborn side is going to go for that second tower, and it wouldn't surprise me if they keep pushing with that Token of Life.
See him picking up just 3 charges, clearing out some archers there. Not that he really needs the mana now. He's got a 2.2k mana pool. Keeper of the Forest going to get spotted out by that Ward of Rev and the Shiver. And obviously gets sheeped as well. Avalanche coming out. Big Falcon Punch coming out from that Deadwood, trying to take out that Tundra. Seismic Slam ends up finishing off that keeper
Before he
of the
could get
forest.
the root down as well.
Yeah, Deadwood ends up getting taken out before he's able to do too much more.
Concede vote coming out,
And there
which
goes the
doesn't
concede.
surprise me. And GG, well played. It looks like SNX is going to take that first game.
So congratulations to Seraphic Nexus taking the first game for the best of 5 series. And we're going to get into a game 2 as quickly as possible. But of course, we'll, as usual, probably go to a Who's That Hero?
Who's that hero? It's
Kraken, release the Kraken.
Alright, we're just waiting to get into game 2, guys. So what do you expect to see for a bit of a change in this second match, Meiji?
Soul Reaper banned. For sure. That hero is... I don't know. Again, I think Soul Reaper was top tier before. On the verge of god tier. Like, it was definitely up there. And it was getting picked up enough. They buffed it. Don't know why. And here comes just such a dominant force. It's insane.
Well, we're just waiting to get underway, or trying to find a server, I believe.
Good old Australian servers probably getting taken by the mid-wars players.
While waiting though, if there's any questions in the chat, I'm more than happy to answer them. Of course, there's a bit of a delay, but actually we're getting onto the second game now. But yeah, we are keeping an eye on the chat, guys, so if you've got anything to point out, give us a shout. Alright, so we're getting underway into Game 2 of the CyberGamer Invite League. Seraphic Nexus being up from the first game due to marvellous Soul Reaper play, I must say, from Gimli, showing just obviously what a powerful hero it is, but also, you know, the kind of player that Gimli is. So sit back and farm just enough and then get involved in those team fights to get quad kills.
I don't know, that's Soul Reaper. I don't know. The buff, I don't like it at all. But it didn't get banned here, but the Tundra did get banned, and that doesn't surprise me either. I did mention at the start of last game how big I thought Tundra was going to be in this meta, and just how strong that bird as a whole will be. But Wild Soul, Tundra, Parasite, and the Rally end up being the final bands. Rally again being one of those super strong heroes. So I guess you could call like both of those bands respect bands. From fives, the Rally and the Tundra having a huge impact on that game and how the game went.
So Tempest keep being in the lock pool, and this is pretty standard to what we've seen in the past. Nighthound being thrown out by fives, though. Is that a bit of a troll lock?
It's had the changes, you know. It is definitely more viable. It has got the Agi buff, I think it was. I can't remember 100%, but it did get that buff on its ultimate, which gave it some passive
agility, grants
increases.
18 agility. I believe that's.
Yeah.
I assume that's level 1.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is not. That's level 3, 18 agility. So it it increases at 6, 12, 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the backstab passively adds 100% agility. That was standard, I believe, at level 4. Was it 100% agility?
Yep. Yep. The only thing that got buffed by that was the agility boost in the invisibility. So again, it's hard to say whether it makes the hero viable, but we'll see if it gets picked up here. The locks coming out end up with the Bubbles, Wretched Hag, and Luna on top of that Tempest Keeper and Nighthound. Bubbles, Hag, and Luna. You know, they're heroes that you see, you know, on and off. Hag, I think Hag didn't get changed at all, but I believe just because the Hellflower got nerfed, Hag got nerfed a little bit. Luna coming out, you know, just pretty standard. I haven't seen too much of a change with this patch, with the lock pools. You see a couple of heroes just randomly chucked in there. You know, we saw the Nighthound this game. What did we see last? What was locked last game? Slither locked last game. But it really hasn't been too different. And the heroes that are kind of getting locked, that are a bit out there, they haven't really been picked up. But I think that a lot of that is because people aren't really comfortable with the changes yet. They haven't gotten a chance to look at them too much. And we're seeing a lot of standard heroes. Bands coming out: Fade, Engineer, Plague Rider, Torturer, Deadwood, and Ophelia. Pebbles being the first picked up for the Legion side.
Now, do you think I just want to go back to those lock picks, or the locks that, you know, were a bit off center, the Slither and now the Nighthound. Is that just because being Ian doesn't want to give away their game plan? I mean, by throwing out, especially because they're throwing it out early, and they're sort of buying a bit more time to have a look at what Seraphic Nexus is planning to do. Although being Ian is one of those teams who have run interesting heroes in the past, could it just be a drafting strategy?
It definitely could be, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's what they're doing. But in saying that, I think they're putting it there because they feel semi-comfortable with it. You know, if they get forced into a situation where they can take it, they're happy to take it, and they're happy to also, or they know that the Legion side probably isn't going to be comfortable with taking Nighthound either. Mm-hmm. So it kind of is a ban lock. In other ways, it takes up one of the slots in the lock pool, and it gives them more options than the Legion side.
I see here Master of Arms Meraxis on the Hellbourne team, and Meraxis is another hero we haven't seen too much of recently. Has it undergone any changes?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. Meraxis isn't one of the... Good. Oh, it did actually. It got nerfed. Magic armor reduced from 5 to 4.5. So a very small change there. But again, we see Meraxis on and off, but it really hasn't been picked up too much. I think it's a really strong mid laner, especially against something like a Pebbles. It does have that tankiness early on, and
a potential arcane.
Yep, the arcane shield too.
Although not yeah.
Against the Pebbles, it's not so bad because, again, Pebbles can throw onto self if wants to. But against maybe what it could be laned with, a Glacius, it obviously can stop the Glacius's freeze, other target abilities, and just projectile abilities. But Wally's taking a bit of time to decide what he wants to pick up here. It doesn't surprise me. Again, we do have the fact that there are heroes that he's probably thinking about just going, is it worth picking up something new? But they end up going with the Nymphora Silhouette. This is something that SNX has done before, and I think they're just going with something that they're really comfortable with instead of delving into the blue. I know SNX hasn't been scrimming a great deal recently. After the patch, they started getting onto it, but again, you haven't had that much time to get a feel for the new patch, and a lot of people are tending to go back to what they're used to. Prophet being picked up. Prophet has been available for a long time, but we haven't really seen it, and a lot of the reason is because it has a lot of trouble farming on its own if it needs to, and but I think it has a really strong laning presence, and I think Prophet's a strong hero, so I hope it gets used like that. Tempest Bubbles being the last picks on the Legion side. Keeper and Aluna were the last from the lock pool on the Hellborn side, so no Nighthounds this game, unfortunately. But we do see that Keeper again. Do you think we'll see Keeper in the jungle or played as a suicide again?
I'm not sure. Obviously, last game they, being in, decided to run him in that suicide lane. And as you mentioned, it's a lot harder for junglers now, but they could have the opportunity. I'm just not sure what they'd end up doing. Are they going to try and run a dual lane mid with a short lane Prophet or something like that?
I think they're going to go with 2-2-1. I think they will run that Keeper as a suicide. They'll run the Prophet and maybe the Master of Arms in the top lane. Either way, just a combination of the two and have a 2-2-1 setup. I think they're going to get... Did they end up buying... They didn't buy counter wards. I'm pretty disappointed in that. I haven't actually seen counter wards being picked up either of these games. 2 counter wards being available at the 0-minute mark. I would like to see them picked up, especially if they're going to run a Suicide Keeper against a jungling Tempest. I really would like to see, them just completely mess up.
Ooh, we're seeing a level 1 Kong, and
that could be why.
That could be why we've got that Miraxus, we've got that Keeper of the Forest and Prophet. Obviously, a little bit of healing for the next 2 attacks, of course. Able to heal that Keeper or heal that Miraxus.
It's not the greatest team for a level 1 Kong, but looks like they're trying to make it work. Again, having all those minions out, having more than 3 melee there, allows Kong to stomp, which is doing a lot of damage to the Miraxus and the Keeper of the Forest. But the minions soaking up, in general, most of the auto attacks.
Spotting it out here and could be in a little bit of trouble. Aluna has that power throw, the stun coming out from Master of Arms, but there's going to be not a lot of follow-up as they have stacked for
Prophet's in a lot of trouble now.
Big shell surf from that Bubbles, actually getting right in there, getting that Bloodlust kill as well, vertical. Getting the Bloodlust kill onto vertical. And they're staying here for the fight, though. They're actually going all out. Master of Arms ends up falling. So it ends up being 2 in favor of Seraphic Nexus. A bold strategy, that level 1 Kongor. Unfortunately, it was just a little bit too slow. And that Tempest did scout them out once they realized, I guess that Tempest just had nothing to do. He decided to scout it out.
Probably called it. Again, not seeing anyone on the map at all. It definitely brings questions. And Twan. Just on the ball, on vertical, sorry, on the ball, picking that up straight away and getting 2 kills out of it. And that's really, really going to make the laning phase a lot harder for the Hellborn side. When you start a level 1 Kongor strat, in general, you expect to come out of it with a level above, less regen, because you've used the regen and the wrong abilities, but, at least you've got that level advantage. They don't have that level advantage. They don't have the regen, and they're definitely on the back foot through the laning phase. On top of that, they died. They have 2 deaths on their team, so that's just a boost for
especially
Tempest especially.
Yeah, you look at that
600
Tempest,
GPM.
600 GPM. Of course, it is going to be going.
Where are the wards? I don't know. Like they're definitely not using the changes to the counter wards effectively. They're gonna let this Tempest farm the jungle, and a lot of the point of you not jungling your Keeper of the Forest is because you don't feel the jungle is going to work out for you, and you're just going to mess up the other person's jungle and make it a living hell for them, you know? And just take control of the game that way. But the fact that they don't have a jungler, they're doing a 2-2-1 setup, and they're giving the Legion side a complete free jungle, not even the pool camp was warding, is a big mistake in my opinion.
To be fair though, to make that pull effective, you really do need to triple stack it now.
No, but Tempest can clear it out just for more farm. Okay. I'm just saying that they didn't ward any of the camps for Tempest. Tempest has a complete jungle to farm out right now.
In this bottom lane, Gimli's going to be on that Silhouette, obviously playing that Sorapur in the last game.
Aluna's in a lot of trouble actually here. Sorry to cut you off there. But Bubbles picked up a haste and went around roaming. Ended up picking off that Aluna. There was a great stun from the Nymphora. While they're doing a great job getting that stun off at max range too. And Seri obviously starting it all off with the Pebble stun.
So the HoN team certainly on the back foot now. They are 3 kills down. Prophet and Master of Arms in that short lane trying to do a bit of damage to that Bubbles, but Bubbles of course under that tower is going to be fine.
Getting a lot of experience in this top lane because of that. I'm not sure if you saw, but that snowballed off a little bit of a pull from the Prophet. Prophet only pulled a double stack, and it didn't even, I think it killed 1 creep from the wave, and just allowed a double push. So that instantly gave Bubbles lane control, experience, and the goal. Like, just the fact is he can keep the lead up and keep on par with that Keeper of the Forest.
I think I saw him pull that in the top lane. No, you're right. I think it might have been a double, or it might have been he only pulled 1 Archer and 1 Imp. So I'm not sure if he even pulled the entire lane correctly. The other minion or the other mobs were still attacking some Legion creeps. So I think that's part of the reason why it gets pushed up so much. I mean, hopefully with this tower attacking it and potentially even attacking a second wave, it's going to push it back into their favour. But after that, Bubbles has been sitting here with some nice amount of experience. He's 0-0-3. He's got some assists. He's doing fine in levels. Level 3 is not too bad. He hasn't been driven out of the lane whatsoever. Hasn't needed to, because he's right under his own tower. He's going to be fine.
He got driven out a little bit at the start, but in saying that, the Master of Arms couldn't keep the lane back himself. Again, he was pushed out to the point where he went and camped the rune and he got a kill off it, but he should have been able to come back to the lane and get 2 waves of experience. He should have been completely cut off from the lane and had nothing. And, Bubbles, one of the big downsides to Bubbles is you've got an escape mechanism, but you don't have any, invis like the Keeper does, or a pulling mechanic to pull the wave into your favor. And you can get shut down by a dual lane. It's a good 1v1 hero, but against a dual lane, it should get nothing. And the fact that Bubbles is getting something means this top lane's already lost in a lot of ways. So, again, Master of Arms is getting good farm, is at 274 GPM, but they're not winning this lane in the manner that they need to be.
Seraphic Nexus in charge, living large in all 3 of their lanes, it looks like, as Silhouette obviously level 4.
And the jungle. And the jungle.
And the jungle, of course. Where you look at Vertical, still on 400 gold per minute technically, and should be coming into some big items in no time. Gimli hasn't really been doing too much against this Keeper of the Forest. You see Minor Totem's just taking a little bit of harass, but still sitting around on 15-2 versus that 14-3. So actually doing slightly better, that Keeper of the Forest in that bottom lane against that solo Silhouette. Having said that though, Silhouette is level 5 and dishing out a huge amount of damage there when he can.
Keeper definitely can do really well 1v1, and that's the difference between the top lane Bubbles is 1v2 and the Keeper's 1v1 and has that pull mechanic. But, what you need to compare it to is how is Silhouette's and Tempest farm going compared to the Prophet and the Master of Arms farm, and it doesn't even compare. So
you look at it there. Yeah, Silhouette 257. Meraxis and Meraxis actually taking a bit of a beating in that middle lane, as Bubbles did show up to try and make a little bit of something happen, especially because you see the lanes actually pushed up back into being Ian's favour.
yeah,
And I believe
that mid lane has been in Ian's favour as well the entire time. As you can see, Meraxis has picked up a lot of the creep kills because of that, 21 to 9 as opposed to 18 to 2. So just doing slightly better, especially with the denies.
Now, I haven't actually seen too much of it, but what's been happening with these runes? Has sort of one support been going one way, the other support going the other, or
Tempest has been camping it most of the time, I think, and
Yeah.
the Nymphora has been heading to the top rune. That's what you can do with the jungler. We actually have seen that Bubbles roam to the top rune a lot as well, if the Nymph doesn't end up heading there. But it wouldn't have surprised me to see a Tempest pull out a bottle this game. Vertical, opting to go for the mana ring, which I can completely agree with, but
he's gone for that Ring of the
would be
Teacher
nice too.
and then a Ring of Sorcery, of course. We've seen something like that in obviously Chessie's Tempest Guide in general, and he is level 6 now, so he's pushing up strong against that Keeper, helping that Silhouette potentially get a tower kill here. Having said that, Bubbles is nearby in that middle lane. He's only level 4, but they could be going onto this Meraxis as the big triple stun combo coming out from Nymphora.
Aluna went to
and
camp at the
Pebbles.
top rune and left the Meraxis alone. Meraxis definitely played way too far up. He knew the Bubbles was around. He knew the Bubbles was missing. He has the wards to see the Bubbles there, and he still was playing really aggressively, even without the Aluna in the lane. So they suffered for that one.
Ports
Coming in this bottom lane.
Keeper of the Forest, he's going to throw out the root early. Tempest still has his ultimate though, and you look at Meraxis and Keeper of the Forest, bit of a misplay there, grouping up. Even if it was just to buy the Silhouette a little bit more time. Meraxis still taking a bit of a beating with those minions, and Tempest going to get power thrown by Aluna.
He actually is going to live, so really, really well played there. I think if Gimli stuck around for another second and put off another maybe auto attack onto either one of the heroes, they could have got a kill or 2 kills from that. Looking at the health of both Meraxis and Keeper of the Forest, but didn't opt for that and went for the safe route. At least they both got out, put a lot of pressure onto that bot tower, and took that bot tower and put a bit of pressure onto the second tier
Bubbles in a
tower.
little bit of trouble in that top lane. I believe the charge bolt, the fork lightning, I'm not sure if it was used there. I think it might have actually missed. That Bubbles may not have been used though. It might have just been an auto attack missing, but Bubbles in a little bit of trouble here. Doesn't have enough for a shell surf, and with this Prophet playing a little bit boldly so they can get the tower. Frey, or I should say, sorry, beating Ian. Putting a bit of gold in their short lane there. Mid lane though, Meraxis actually trying to make a move onto this Nymphora. Power throw coming out from Aluna, and it looks like a
Great throw.
great throw, throwing that
The stun actually hit the Aluna
Pebbles
because
through.
of it.
Well, yeah, Pebbles actually threw Nymphora into the fight. Meraxis in a lot of trouble, ends up getting a Tempest dropped on his head.
I said great throw because I thought the Pebbles was on the Hellborn side. That was
Yeah,
a bit of a...
he threw the Glaciers, through the Nymphora, and if I was Nymphora, I'd be turning off assist.
It was definitely going for the Meraxis there. Unfortunately, didn't get it, and the Nymphora did drop for it. In saying that, they put a lot of pressure onto the Aluna, forcing the Aluna back. They killed the Meraxis, and then they took the mid tower because of it. So it was a worthy trade. Unfortunately, the Nymphora did go down, but I won't call it a misplay. At the same time, I believe the Bubbles died in the top lane to this Master of Arms, boosting the Master of Arms up experience a lot, and definitely just giving a bit of a gold boost that didn't particularly need, but is definitely welcome. So sitting at 390 GPM now.
Yeah, they need to get some farm onto this Master of Arms. 385 gold per minute is good, and we actually see what looks like, is it a double stack? No, it could be a triple stack, although one of the Vagabond Assassins looks like he's stuck in the trees there, so I'm not sure about that. But if they can get some big farm on this Master of Arms, level 8, compared to the Silhouette, who's sitting at 280. Having said that, you got to take Tempest in the mix there, who's got 410 gold per minute. But Master of Arms needs some items. He's going to need some damage, and he's going to need to carry this game essentially, and try and compete on a level with this silhouette.
Master of Arms is definitely doing really well this game, but has to compete with that silhouette. Has higher GPM, but as a team, as a whole, again, they pulling a lot into this Master of Arms. You've got the Tempest that has 400 GPM, the Pebbles that has 400 GPM, Silhouette's not doing bad at all at 300 GPM, and the Master hasn't even broken the 400 GPM mark. So again, with so much pulled into this Master, you'd expect the Master to have just a little bit more.
You see there, we talked about for Tempest camping that bottom rune. Rune of Refreshment picked up by Prophet in the top lane, and Pebbles in a position to go get that Illusion Rune, fill up his bottle, of course, or maybe even getting him forward to do it for him. Meraxis could go down there, though. Bit of back and forth. They're actually going to jump on this Pebbles now that he has no mana, and Nymphora is not able to do much to help him. A little bit of a heal bomb comes out, certainly not enough. Nymphora actually ports out and goes back to base.
They did get that pick onto the Pebbles, and again, these are the picks that they need to get back into this game, and as we keep talking about, the meta changes mean these picks mean a lot more, and it definitely closes up the experience gap, in particular, the gold gap a lot. I think it gives a bit of team gold for the kill streak rewards and whatnot, but they got that pick off onto the Pebbles that was doing particularly well. Pebbles still
lane.
on.
Sorry, Bubbles in top lane, having a little bit of trouble throwing out that Kelp field, trying to save himself from the Master of Arms. Tempest joining the party, but the Panzer Arm being activated, and Master of Arms going to get out of there. Portal Key from Pebbles, though, does not care
Beautiful
about that shield.
double stun.
And Nymphora throwing out the double stun there as well with that Nymphora Zeal. Going to speed up that Pebbles a little bit. He's got bottle charges. This Master of Arms in a lot of trouble. No way he's getting out of there. And Seraphic Nexus picking up a nice, neat little 2 kills in that top lane. Just Master of Arms using all he had to try and kill that Bubbles, I believe. And then had to make a long run back.
I'm going to go ahead and say he should have sped himself up rather than give himself the armor. There was no immediate threat, but if he got out of there, he could have lived. Giving himself the armor slowed him down because he had to cast it and didn't give him any extra movement speed, allowing the Pebbles to catch up and combo him and the Illuna. If he sped himself up, he probably could have gotten out alive, and the Illuna would have been the only one to drop there.
Now putting a bit of pressure on this tier 1 tower in the top lane. Seraphic Nexus looking to cement their gold lead here. They are 4,500 gold up, and that's going to boost up to almost 6,000 as they are obviously 7-3 as we go past that 12-minute mark. Prophet and Illuna really don't have anything just yet. Meraxis has his Steam Boots. Master of Arms got the Phase Boots, and Keep the Forest getting close to a Portal Key, but not close enough just yet. Especially with Silhouette picking up a Sustainer, Portal Key on Pebbles, and Tempest has already got his Astrolabe, Ring of Sorcery as we mentioned, and a Mystic Vestments.
Yeah, Tempest is super tanky right now. They've got the team fight ability, like they've got that Pebbles with the PK, which is just deadly. You know, they're really in a position to keep these fights up. Pebbles actually jumping onto the Illuna there, and Illuna dropped like it was cheese.
Like a stone?
Dropped like a stone, sliced like butter. You know, it was nothing the Illuna could do there. Playing a bit bold, actually, running into the jungle with knowing that, you know, the Legion side's in there. They were running as a group, probably trying to get a pick off, but didn't realize that the Pebbles was waiting. And the Pebbles got that pick off. Looks like they're stacking up mid and maybe going for a push here. They do have the Tempest ult and the Bubbles ult up. They've also got the Nymphora report if they do need to get back and defend something. Keeper is putting a bit of pressure onto this bottom lane, does have his ulti as well. So it looks like this is going to be a bit of a
I think
a
Keeper
fight at
is
the mid
waiting
lane.
for that portal
Prophet's
key.
in a lot of trouble, actually. He got caught out in the trees and comboed by the Pebbles.
Keeper the Forest nearby, probably going to try and make a move onto this Tempest and Silhouette. I'm not sure if he's got the backup though, And he actually, the Legion team ends up spreading enough that he's going to have to try and reposition himself. Keeper of the Forest ult goes down. Keeper of the Forest ult goes down along with that kelp field, and Bubbles doing a fair bit of damage in that background. Pebbles jumping in, balls to the wall, trying to get kills. Gets a kill onto that Prophet. It is a 3-for-1 at the moment. Tempest is down, ulti on cooldown anyway. Prophet, Aluna, and Master of Arms going to be dropped along with that Keeper of the Forest, so it ends up being a 1-for-4. Miraxis being the only one to get out of there. Seraphic Nexus just spreading beautifully after getting that pick off on to Aluna, I want to say. Was it Aluna? Right at the start there, and then obviously Keeper of the Forest poured it in.
That was the Prophet.
Oh, sorry,
Prophet died straight away, yeah.
So they got the kill onto the Prophet. Keeper of the Forest poured it in with that ulti ready to go, but they just spread out enough that that it took him quite a while to throw it down to find a good position, and by then the rest of the cooldowns were up again on that Pebbles. Silhouette was able to do what he can. Tempest ultimate getting cancelled straight away, but not a huge deal. You know, and Bubbles dishing out a fair amount of damage for a level 8 hero.
Look at the stacks going on in the jungle, just trying to get a bit of farm in there. But again, SNX is well and truly in the lead this game. And to be honest, all they have to do right now is win these team fights, not get picked off. And I think they've got this game in the bag. Wait for cooldowns to come off before they fight. Have Silhouette going for that Null Stone.
Nymphora and Pebbles. Pebbles actually with a haste can jump onto this Master of Arms. Going to throw out the combination there. Master of Arms is a huge amount of trouble. Stun coming out from Aluna, but it's not going to matter. As obviously a hasted Pebbles is just too much. Legion is owning at the moment, 14-4, 16 minutes in. And it looks like Hellborn going to concede and just go to a game 3. It is a best of 5, remember. So they do have a fair amount of time to try and claw this one back.
Yep. Again, this is only game 2. It is a best of 5 series. Frey can definitely pull back into it, but SNX really doing well that game. I'm not going to say it was a drafting win. I think the early game there could have been things changed around that could have made it more in Frey's favor or being Ian's favor if they maybe shut down the Tempest, didn't go for that level 1 Kong attempt, which was really bold. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them, and that definitely put them on the back foot from the beginning. On top of that, they let the Tempest free farm, and the top lane didn't go 100%, which is what they would have needed. So, again, SNX doing a really good job there, taking that game, and bad luck to being Ian.
We're going to go to another Who's That Hero, as we do. As we're just getting ready in this next match, and we'll be right back with some more NFG HoN CyberGamer Invite League.
Who's that hero? It's
Andromeda.
I can invent time itself. It's why I still look so good.
And we're back, of course. Seraphic Nexus 2 games up against this being in. This could be the final match, as it is a best of 5. Or we could be in for another 3 games, Mangy.
Yeah, definitely. Another 3 games would be interesting. Either way, I think this match is going to be a big one. Frey definitely wants to keep it. I keep saying Frey, but being Ian, definitely wants to keep themselves in this competition. They need to win this match. I hope to see a bit of a, maybe a change, like some cool things run by SNX, just because they've got that lead. But again, they probably don't want to throw that lead away either. That was an instant Tempest rally lock there.
I think Seraphic Nexus has an idea of what they want to do.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be another standard safe game, but who can blame them? This is for money, $500 prize pool, all up. So I think, what's first place take, Dan? 250, is it?
Yeah, I believe so. 250. I should know. No, $300 for first place.
$300.
$150 for second place, and we've still got a bronze match to cover at some stage once XZ and Myth Esports, once we get them together to organise that bronze match, and the third place team will end up taking $50. Obviously not huge amounts of money from an international standpoint, but not too bad for an Australian scene. And you guys tuning in, you're the reason why we're able to put that on through your support. Obviously, shout out to the guys who've been sort of donating and hitting that follow button. And that's we've been able to sort of keep bringing out this content. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. We're enjoying doing it, so that's pretty much all that matters.
Yeah.
So
getting into this game.
Third match, CyberGamer Invite League. If you're just joining us, it is the final. Seraphic Nexus versus Being Ian. The blind bands being that Wild Soul, Keeper of the Forest, Ophelia, and Parasite, so pretty standard there, of course. The locks coming out, there's Nighthound again, being that first lock from Fives.
And then Nighthounds.
You mentioned the Tempest Rally snap locks from Seraphic Nexus. We're going to see two pretty regular looking locks there, a Luna Glacius and a Hellbringer as the final lock from Seraphic Nexus.
Hellbringer change was huge.
Are we going to see a Hellbringer, Mangy?
It's a possibility, and I think it is completely viable right now. I think the changes to it have been massive, and I'm excited to see it. Maybe you get that Resto Stone with level 16 ults and have 6 Malphuses running around just crushing everything. That would definitely excite me a little bit. But we'll see what happens.
Certainly see what happens. The bands are coming out here. Pebbles, Fade, Torturer, Tundra, Engineer. Unfortunately, not going to see the Engie Mag combo. I haven't seen it since the patch. Well, rarely saw it before the patch. It was just too powerful. It's too powerful, Mangy. Do you still rate the Engie Mag combo post-patch, though?
Yes. Engineer is still huge. Did get nerfed a little bit. Still awesome. That hero turns around team fights immensely. But yeah, I think Engineer Magmus is still a really strong combination, and Engineer being one of the best supports in the game right now. It's not surprising that you see it banned out a lot.
Going into the picking phase, though, Five's taking his time. He's eating in. He has eaten into that extra time. He is going to go with Devourer, though. I'm very excited to see what they end up doing with potentially a Devourer.
Is he going to chuck a handskin? Just pulling out the Super KG hooks. Go. I love it. I don't know why they pick it first, though. I'm a bit confused by why they picked it up first. They just show off exactly the direction that they're going to go in. By picking it first. The chances of SNX picking up the Devourer are really low, and Being Ian should have known that.
Then again, Nomad is that second pick.
Nomad coming out too, so if they have 3 interesting picks here, I'll forgive it completely. But if they don't, I don't know. I still think Nomad probably would have been a better first pick than the Devourer.
Now it's interesting because pre-patch we've seen obviously a lot of Moon Queen. And now, Moon Queen not locked, not banned, not in the lineup at all, it looks like, unless the Hellborn team pick it up. Seraphic Nexus actually end up going the Scout pick.
Scoot. We've got the Scoot, and as I'd assume it is going to be run as a suicide, as we've seen a lot of messing with junglers, which here's the Tempest coming out. It's a big hero.
Now, this gives the opportunity for Seraphic Nexus to pick up maybe the Rally and a support. They do need another support. I don't think Magmus is strong as a support. While he's playing that Master of Arms.
And just really, really mess with.
Then again, though, Plague Rider can play a semi-support.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I prefer to see him with a portal key, but I always get yelled at to buy wards. But then again, though, I want to see Devourer, Tempest, Plague Rider, and a Hellbringer. I reckon that is a huge lineup to put on a team, especially with the changes to that Hellbringer. You got these double Malphus coming out, dishing out huge damage on top of the Tempest and a Plague Rider ulti.
Triple Malphus.
Triple Malphus, maybe even a Malphus?
A hex
Is it a hex?
Malphus.
Hex Malphus?
Hex, Hex something, I don't know. But yeah. They're Hellbringer and I think it was Rally were picked up on the Hellborn side as the two picks from the lock pool, and the final pick from the lock pool was a Luna on the Legion side. So they've got, I think again, I think this is more of a standard lineup. With the Scout though, standard lineup for the Hellborn side, we do see a bit of interesting heroes. I guess you see the Nomad coming out, you see the Devourer coming out, but I mean, pretty similar lanes to what we've seen in the previous meta, pre-patch. We'll see probably the Tempest go jungle, you've got the Plague Rider Suicide, you got the dual lane Devourer, a Luna mid, and you've got the Nomad soloing bot, which I think is great, especially if he's going to go up against a Suicide Scout, which it looks like he is going to be, but they are going to go for a 5-man roam bottom. And we do see the counter wards picked up. Thank you, SNX, for doing this. Thank you. Okay, so we've got 4 wards right now. If they do run the Tempest jungle, he is screwed. Straight off the bat, if they ward 4 camps, plus they've got the Scout ward, they can literally ward 5 camps. There is no counter wards picked up from the Legion side either, so they can't even stop it until at least after the first spawns come up, which is already going to slow him a little bit. It looks like Scout's baiting this out a little bit, but Nomad backs off. Doesn't want to chew that bait. Doesn't want to chew that bait.
Doesn't want to take a bite of it, especially as he has a lot backing him up
Courier
here.
there too. Courier kind of having a dig, poking around a little bit. Does know the team's there. In a 5v5 fight, I really think the Hellborn's got this.
It's a 5v4. It's a 5v4, especially
yeah.
as Plague Rider actually sitting ready to go in that Suicide lane.
Legion does end up backing off. What do we got? Let's see. Where are the wards? We've got two camps blocked so far. 3 camps blocked. That is 3 camps blocked so far. That's without Scout putting any eyes down. He did get that Vanish ability first, but I'm sure as the lane goes on, he gets a couple of levels, he will be moving around, and we see the 4th ward placed into the camps. That is 4 camps. What can he do? On top of that, I think this is a bit of a misplay though. They could have counter-warded that ward. Actually, Scout looks like he's coming to do it now. I'm not sure if they see that ward, but Scout could well and truly counter-ward that ward.
He's still...
Yep, he is.
Yep.
He did go and find it. So he's gonna counter-ward that ward too. So on top of there being like 4 camps blocked, there is now no vision of the rune on the Hellborn side, and the Legion side.
And Five's struggling to even just clear out this Minotaur camp, not doing the best of the micro right now.
Was that his first? Wow, that was his resummon as well.
I don't think he actually got into the lane in time to do the.
He didn't get the stack off either. He is definitely going to suffer in this jungle.
I'm not
without
sure
that stack.
I'm not sure if he knows that the easy camp is gone either. Hasn't been scouted out yet, I don't think. And I think Five's just got to cut his losses and go into the Hellborn jungle if he can.
He can, but there's 4 heroes from like in between the Hellborn jungle, and I know if Fives moves along to it, there'll be a Hellbringer, there'll be a Master of Arms or a Rally roaming into that jungle to shut him down. So Fives is going to have a lot of trouble on this Tempest, and this is what I was saying before. This is what Fives should have done last game, is to pull this out. And look at him, he can't do anything. He's level 2 right now, just barely level 2 as well. Not even close to level 3, and he's going to have to swap jungles if he wants to do anything successfully.
You see him scouting out with the Courier here.
He's looking for Scout wards, but he doesn't realize that these are just normal, counter wards. They can't be scouted out, So, Master of Arms picking up that Rune of Refreshment, I believe it's called, and you see the Hellbringer roam to the top rune and grab that regeneration rune. Luna not able to get onto any of them.
Well, Rally Compel in the mid lane.
That could be a problem. Rally could be in a lot of trouble right now. The Devourer opts not to turn on the Rally, which is probably a good decision. He did take a lot of damage from that goo, but compelling it is definitely a ballsy move at this point. They've already counter-warded the pool ward as well, so you've got Vertical sitting in this top lane. He's only going to pull one, so I don't think he minds. He knows the lane's going to be pushed up anyway, he's just doing it for temporary lane presence. Maybe he's just going to try and pull a double camp, but I don't think he knows that you can't do that anymore. So unfortunately, that's a big misplay here, because it won't allow you to do that anymore from the new patch. And again, that's unfortunate, really.
These teams potentially not reading those new patch notes, or just the finer intricacies, as you were talking about, of the jungle itself, and those new warding capabilities. The triple stack needs to be done before you lane pull, things like that. Having said that, though, having that camp stacked is certainly not a bad thing. Especially got a Magnus and a Hellbringer could dish out a fair bit of damage, try and get a bit of extra farm. 1v1, Playground are taking on that Hellbringer, having a bit of a scrape there. Hellbringer's just going to pop some regen and back off.
Yeah, as you'd expect. Tempest, level 3, doing alright. You've got Scout is going to be cheeky, placing wards down, and this is why Suicide Scout is so painful. Five's actually put a Ward of Rev down, and it's just out of range to get Wally's Water Sight down in this the bottom camp, so he can't even counter ward that one.
Because it's 900 range, is it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, it's 906 there. Master of Arms taking a bit of damage. Dev had thrown out the hook. I think he must have hooked that Master of Arms, and he's moving down to potentially pick up. No, there's no bottom rune, so I don't know what he's doing. He's just circling back.
Tempest does end up counter-warding one of the Water Sights. Gets a bit of gold for it, but Scout is putting so much harass. Scout is going to reward this camp and just get back to it. I believe Ward of Revs now give 25 gold as well, so it's kind of worth putting a ward down.
Well, especially if your Electric Eye costs you nothing. All it is costing him time in the lane against a Nomad, and Nomad's already sort of dominating.
Nomad's going to win that lane, yeah.
Yeah, Nomad's already dominating that bot lane anyway, so if Scout can interrupt that Tempest, which they've done a great job of so far, keeping him down only on level 4, gold per minute, you look at 173, not where Tempest wants to be.
Vertical is trying to pull this top lane again, and it's just not working out for him.
They jump in onto this Playgrider though, Lava Surge coming out from that Magnus, and I believe the Blood Boil and Unholy Shackles coming out as well. A couple more auto attacks, the final tick, Vertical ends up getting credit for the kill.
And that is the Bloodlust.
Wow, that is the Bloodlust kill.
5 minutes and 46 seconds in is a Bloodlust, and I think a lot of that is due to how passive being Ian will be playing this game. Just because, they have to win this game. They really do. And both teams, I'm sure that SNX wants to get this out of the way straight away. Being Ian wants to win this game to keep themselves in. But again, a lot's on the line for this game.
As you talk about, Nomad still just dominating that bottom lane. 44-20 versus Scout's 16-0. Scout getting a couple of creep kills, but I believe some of that... yeah. Ooh, great hook coming out from that Devourer. Luna still goes down though, as I believe the shot and Vertical's Blood Boil was still doing damage.
Yep, the Blood Boil ended up taking the kill in the end. So Hellbringer, we haven't seen Hellbringer a lot.
It's been a long time since we've seen Hellbringer.
A very, very long time. And I would have thought that Hellbringer with the changes would have been played as maybe a farming role. But they've opted to put him on the support, so, I don't disagree with it. But, yeah, doing some work on this support role.
And while we have a bit of a break in action, I will give a shout out. I know you've been waiting for it. Ramifications, giving you a shout out, as well as Trinkamski, and obviously Seraphic Nexus, Seraphic_Nexus, the channel for the Seraphic Nexus team that are playing at the moment. I believe their team owner is tuned in to watch them play.
Braxius, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think.
So shout out to Brax.
I think I said it right. Yeah.
And what a better time to tune in than the finals of the CyberGamer Invite League, sponsored by Nonfiction Gaming, obviously NFGLive.com, where Seraphic Nexus, in a powerful position here, needs one more game under their belt, and they take out the finals as 300 gold. Sorry, not 300 gold, $300. Much better than 300 gold going into their purse there. Tempest getting to that rune a little bit too slow as Master of Arms actually using that invis. And we see a pretty good ward coverage coming out from both teams. He's sort of relaxed on that Tempest, giving him a bit of time to try and catch up now. But it is going to be slow going for that for fives. Just hitting level 6 now.
Yeah, it definitely was a slow start. And this is what I mean, like, Tempest... An uncontrolled Tempest, for example, last game we saw the Tempest uncontrolled was sitting at 450, 460 GPM. Obviously got that Bloodlust kill, but when it settled down, he was close to 500 GPM. You know, this Tempest at about this time is sitting at not even 200 GPM right now. You know, having a lot of trouble. Obviously, Scout is still...
Oh, sorry, middle lane, Master of Arms, and that rally Seismic Slam. Just going to take him out there. Master of Arms finding the right moment to use that Invis rune, and waited till Aluna Harry Pottery was off warding to make that happen. Obviously throwing down that that armor goo, the negative armor goo, coupled with the...
Scout might be in a bit of trouble here, actually. Sorry.
Yep.
Continue.
I am watching that, but I miss Gimli taking out tower in the top lane.
Yeah.
But yeah, throwing down that negative armor goo, obviously making that Seismic Slam just do that much more damage. Whether it was really needed, who knows. Obviously doing the math though, coming out on top, not wanting to risk it. Rally actually compelled forward there, missing a Luna. I'm not sure if he was just doing that to get a creep kill.
Probably trying to get the Aluna, but was happy to just do a bit of creep damage. Again, does have... The bottle is empty at the moment, but the rune is coming up soon, and it's pretty much a guaranteed rune. You're going to see the Master of Arms camp that bottom rune, whether it's going to be 2 charges or a full bottle plus a rune is the real question. You do see a Luna kind of gearing towards going to top lane. Doesn't opt for it because the Hellbringer is already sitting there. So, you know, SNX has complete rune control right now, and complete rune control means a lot more than just picking up a rune now. It's both runes, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, they picked up a regen bottled now. Hellbringer didn't really need the single bottle charge that you get from picking up a rune of refreshment, but it's not to be scoffed at, especially if you can deny it from that other team. Magmus probably got to be a little bit careful though. This Magmus or Gimli going to fall back. They do have a great ward of sight up from vertical, and obviously wards do win games. Luna throws a rev ward right on top of it though, so going to try and take away some of that visual advantage that everyone
that hook. That hook at the middle lane.
I missed that.
Sorry, didn't sidestep it. Just pressed H, held in position. Stopped running. I guess you could call it a bit of a sidestep, but Dev trying to get a preemptive hook unfortunately missed just in front. Looking at GPMs though, the Nomad's doing particularly well at 400 GPM. In saying that, you know, that's the trade-off for the Rally and Magmus both being at just the high 300, the low 300s, both at 330 GPM. And both doing really well. Nomad actually has... Is that a shield breaker? A shield breaker and ghost marches. So Scout is having a lot of trouble in this top lane, as you'd expect. Getting put down to really low life. If Scout comes out of Invis here...
Then again though, Magmus jumps in. They throw out the silence. Eruption coming out from Gimli, and he's trying to chase down that Nomad. Ends up throwing...
There was the Nomad ult.
There was the Nomad ult. It wasn't triggered though by the Steam Bath. And it looks like he could die. Lava Surge from Magmus actually going...
Nice Jukes coming out from Roger
Huge amounts of Jukes, but in the end, Scout ends up getting the kill because he is able to come out of Invis with a couple of auto attacks, catching that Rally off guard. Oh, sorry, not Rally, Nomad off guard. So Seishi picking up another kill. What was definitely having trouble in the lane. Devour in a lot of trouble as well, getting stunned before he's able to get that Seismic Slam off. Big hook just missing onto that Master of Arms. As we see in the top lane, ZUTE, Plague Rider getting a kill onto the Hellbringer, as Hellbringer was alone, of course, as Magmus had been bot. That Devourer hook missing by a bee's dick right there onto the Master of Arms. Could have pulled him back into tower range, but Unfortunately not. It is 1 for 4 though, so they do get a kill. Plague Rider using that ulti, the Plague Carrier, up in that top lane to secure a kill. I imagine being in is not out of this match by any means. It is still very, very even now. Well, 1,600 gold difference, but
yeah. And Tempest is picking up now, though. So Tempest, it still does have the scout.
Ooh, top lane Lava Surge on from that Magnus onto that Plague Rider, coupled with another stun from that Master of Arms. Wally locking him down onto the negative armor and just dishing out huge amounts of damage. Plague Rider will fall. Unfortunately, does not have much to protect him against armor just yet. That comes later, of course, once he gets that W ability. The Cursed Shield. So 1-5, Seraphic Nexus still showing that they are in charge of this game, despite a Nomad getting up there 359 gold per minute. See a lot of action. There goes the first Malphus in that middle lane. Devourer will go down. Rally's actually going to be able to get out of there okay, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them push this tower a little bit, or at least put a bit of pressure on now that they've got the Malphus out. And
Malphus doesn't do too much, but it's good at tanking the tower.
Yep.
It's 20% damage on the tower now. It actually got nerfed the damage, but that's because they have 3 Malphuses at level 16, and that would be just super intense if it was out there. So, but that tower again, the Malphus tanking it allows the creeps to put a lot of pressure onto it, and it is taking a lot of damage. Probably going to go down into deny range, which might not be good right now. The teleport's coming in. I'm sure that the Legion side is going to be happy to deny this one, and quite easily too.
Harry Pottery picking up a deny on that mid tower, and it looks like Nomad could be in a little bit of trouble. The rest of the Hellborn team going to collapse on him. Combo breaker being used, and he doesn't get the kill on Scout, actually gets stunned. Sidesteps the Seismic Slam though. Scout's going to come out and disarm him a little bit with the coming out of Invis, but it looks like Nomad's going to get out of there just in time. Tempest still having a bit of a hard time. He's got that Ring of Sorcery. His ulti is on cooldown though, so there's not much he can do to help that Nomad or even defend this tower, even if he wanted to.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard to push this tower still, and I expect to see the whole one back up, which is, it looks like that's what they're doing. Just going head back to lanes and get back to farming. Hellbringer is going to walk into danger territory, but the Legion's a bit far back, and no hook attempt is going to come out.
So I want to go over some of these items. The Luna, struggling of course, being that support hero, 90 gold per minute. Devourer, he's got red booties, mystic vestments. What items do you see on that Devourer first? Is it worth saving up for a portal key? Is it just, okay, he's got steam boots now, is it finished steam boots?
Got his steam boots?
Finish a shaman's headdress? Do you want to see a helm on this Devourer?
Maybe a helm. I would like to see a helm this game, especially against something like a rally and the scout. I think a helm is definitely a good idea. Give a bit of that extra survivability.
Ooh, Lava Surge from Magnus after channeling that eruption, using that portal key there to get a kill. Unfortunately, Devourer had walked away as he believed Magnus was backing off to teleport out, it looked like. Devourer probably not in range to go for the hook and is going to back off. Not able to chase that Magnus in the end. Hellbringer, you see actually in Viz in the jungle, in the Legion jungle here. Nomad's in a little bit of trouble because Rally and Master of Arms are coming in. There goes the lightning speed as well. Great combo breaker blocking the Seismic Slam. Doesn't matter though, ends up getting taken out in the end. Luna could be in a lot of trouble here as well. Scout actually trying to kill that, kill 5s on the Tempest. And Seraphic Nexus 1 and 10 just absolutely dominating this match. Hook from Devourer going to miss, unfortunately, and Master of Arms Wally doing some great jukes in the trees.
Huge ulti from the Plague Rider. That's going to get like 2 kills there.
He is still in a lot of trouble though. He's not out of the woods just yet. Minor Totems. the Malphus actually trying to secure a kill as well, but Siri will get it in the end. That's a genocide in favor of the Hellborn team. And it is 3-12. I don't think being in wants to give it up just yet. There's no racks down or anything like that.
I won't expect to see C. I'd expect this one to go to the end, especially. I don't think Fives is the kind of person that would drag something out that that it's completely over, but yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Who wants to give up the opportunity? Why not play it out to the end? It's not over yet by any means, mind you. That Nomad is still doing particularly well. I think it was a bit of a misplay from the rally there. He did get the boost from Master of Arms, and he probably could have stunned himself and then got the ulti off instantly, but didn't get that going. There's actually a fight brewing at mid lane.
Big
Ulti
Tempest
comes out.
ultimate catching that Magnus, and a Rally shield comes out onto that Magnus, trying to keep him alive a little bit longer. Magnus could actually get out of here. Rally compelling off to the side as well. Hook missing, as I believe he was stunned, but it ends up getting taken out in the end. Getting that kill onto Roger Dodger, who is the one you really want to see it on, and he just keeps upgrading that shield breaker. Do you feel that he should be going for some other items, maybe something like a Nullstone or a Helm of the Black Legion himself? Actually, big hook in the middle lane, Vertical getting hooked right on the edge of there from that Devourer. Power Throw going to help guarantee that kill from Harry Pottery. But in return, Master of Arms thrown out a relatively blind Forked Lightning to secure the kill, the counter kill, I should say, onto that Devourer.
Yeah. Again, these are picks that they want to get. They did just surrender a Devourer for Hellbringer though, which wasn't quite worth it. But in saying that, they got a free kill on the rally earlier, so it wasn't too much of a big deal. And it's definitely what's going to be pulling them back into this game. They do have a Tempest. Again, Tempest suffered a lot in the early game, but is definitely picking up right now. And Tempest, along with a pretty farm Nomad. Nomad's lost a little bit of GPM, but is still the highest in the game currently at 357. And of course, you do have that Plague Rider ulti. Plague Rider, Tempest, and a farm Nomad is a recipe for destruction. And of course, the Devourer's around doing consistent damage and being pretty tanky, but he has suffered a little bit this game, sitting at only 185 GPM.
Yeah, being in on the back foot, of course, but they are still in it with this Nomad, who now has a level 3 shield break. Or I thought he'd bought a level 3 shield break. He's still sitting on level 2.
I think it is.
There we go. He
there
just
now.
bought it. Yep. So going all out damage, hoping I imagine that the lockdown from the Tempest and
Nomad
Plague
is
Rider.
in trouble at bottom. He actually is going to port out. They do have the entire SNX squad converging in on that bottom tower, so Nomad pulling out of that one was probably a good idea. He only ported to the second tier tower, so he can defend, but it looks like they're just going to leave this one drop and counter push that mid tower. We do have Master of Arms sitting there geared up, ready to defend this one if we do get some ports coming in, so the Legion does end up backing out of that one. So it's going to be a free tower, and they're not going to lose anything, so this is a pretty big tower from SNX. We've got Magnus with this Invis rune, scouting out this Devourer. Devourer probably in a lot of trouble right now.
Especially with the rest of the Hellborn team getting close. They can see him. Tempest's going to be in a lot of trouble there. There goes the Lava Surge. There goes that Malphus and the Scout Shot. Vertical getting credit for the kill. Vertical racking up some big kills here. 4-3. 4-3 is his score. He has died a couple of times, of course, but that Malphus being extremely handy in the lockdown. We haven't even seen him hit level 11 yet. We haven't seen the double Malphus come out.
That's a bit disappointing, but again, they're getting these kills, they're securing the picks. They wanted to pick the Tempest there so they could push the mid tower without a Tempest ulti worrying them. So I really can't see the Legion side defending this tower at the moment, especially with Tempest down. He might try and get a hook. They do get a beautiful hook off onto... That was an unfortunate Magnus ulti. Thought the Dev was going to go in, the Dev backed off, and Magnus wasted his ulti in here, so it looks like the Hellborn's just going to back off after that one. Maybe put a bit of pressure onto the top tower, but again, Tempest is up now, does have his ulti, doesn't have a PK or a Astrolabe, but again, the Hellborn side is definitely in the lead. And something else to mention is how much rune control they've kept. They've got both runes consistently for probably the past 20 minutes. So I'm not sure if they missed a single one. Scout's actually solo pushing this bot lane. Scout got the Energizer and Phase Boots. I'm not 100% what Scout will be opting for next.
I'm not 100% behind that, seeing as Master of Arms already has an Energizer.
Energizers are always good. Always good.
The more the
You
better?
Need
Is it
you
really?
need at least one on every team, I think. One on every team. Two, again, there is no debuff for an Energizer, and that's a big point to put forward.
Okay.
Um,
That's a good point.
the,
It's not
the
like an
reason you
Astrolabe,
don't
it's
get
not
two
like-
Astrolabes or you don't get two barriers is because there's a debuff that gets placed on you. With an Energizer, there's not. So they can just have consistent speed. I don't disagree with it. I don't particularly agree with it. I think Scout could get something else. He does have 3.6k pulled up, which I don't particularly like. I don't think there's any need to pull up that much gold, especially when you're not going to be building some sort of big team fight changing item. You know, and he doesn't need to save for buyback, so why has he got all this pulled up? This is like, it's an item that could help him get kills, but he's opting to save it for no particular reason.
Yeah,
Does put that silence down to stop them. He probably just saved the Hellbringer there. That Nomad did so much damage to the Hellbringer, half health in one hit. If he did get that buffed hit, he probably would have killed the Hellbringer there.
Devara does end up going that Helm of the Black Legion. We see him picked up there. So he's just going for more that tanky, trying to stay alive, potentially trying to get some big hooks. We see the group of Seraphic Nexus actually taking down some of these Ancients.
They are spotted out by that ward there, so
I don't think it's going to be really contested though.
Oh, it's
Aluna's in a lot of trouble though from that Scout Bomb, that Energizer, and a couple of auto attacks. The Skeleton might end up getting the kill in fact, but it ends up being Seishi.
the boost from Master of Arms definitely helps secure that kill. And again, Scout has 4k saved up. Imagine how much faster Scout would have killed that Aluna there if he had maybe a, you know what, an Elder Parasite, say. I would like to see an Elder Parasite, and I do think it's completely viable. But that kill definitely coming from that water side there from Wally. So really, really well played by Wally and SNX in general, just keeping up this vision and just keeping control of the map. They've definitely got control of the farm. They're farming out the Legion jungle as the Hellborn side, and have all the lanes pretty much in their favor, or they're pushing them up. But it looks like a fight might be coming in this bottom lane at this bottom second tier tower.
Because you got to remember, Tempest has that portal key. He has that
just
ulti
picked
ready.
it up too. And I don't think the Hellborn knows that the portal key's there.
Ooh, close hook from that Devara. They know he's there now. Energizer being popped so they can be a bit more mobile. Just running around like flies. It kind of looks like sort of darting around a little bit there.
They have to be careful stacking up like that, though. Again, they do not know Tempest has his portal key, and if Tempest can get a good pick, we do see Hellbringer staying way at the back here.
Another missed hook, straight between the middle there. You see actually Scouts drop that electric eye, so even if Tempest does jump in, if he does it anywhere near that eye, of course he can get silenced straight away. Magma's erupting off to the side, they're going to jump in, Lava Surge onto that Devara. Devara's going to go down, combo breaker from that Nomad, you see him just tearing it up on the back line. He's going to try and go after this Hellbringer. Hellbringer actually gets stunned and then one shot by that Nomad. Plague-Rider in a little bit of trouble. He did pop that Astrolabe. Looks like he's going to be okay, but no! Lava Surge from that Magma's going to finish him off.
Does still pick off the rally though, so
end.
rally does still drop.
Rally does drop, and Nomad doesn't commit to the kill onto the
Turned around to help the Tempest, who unfortunately still died in the end.
I think he would have been better off committing onto that Magmus, as Scout, of course, can just invis. Nomad, if he can get the hits onto Magmus, of course, should have been able to follow him up had he, if he didn't get stunned or something like that. Deny him from portal keying away, I think would have been the thing to do.
That fight came out pretty even. I think SNX was 1 kill above in that fight. They did get the tower as well. So SNX did pull ahead that fight. But I really feel if Scout used his 5k that he had to pick up an item, put maybe armor on his team, the damage buff from the Abyssal Skull that he just picked up, the damage and armor buff from the Abyssal Skull, would have been a huge change. And like that still allows him to buy back if he's saving for that. And I just don't agree with them pulling up so much gold. You've got 4.3k on Magmus. What is he doing with the 4.3k? Why is it pulled up? Is he saving for a double buyback throw at the mid lane? Again, I just don't feel there's any need to pull up that amount of gold. But, again, SNX with that lead and coming out on top of that fight, continuing to hold that lead, and I'm sure they're going to continue to hold map control. But Nomad is getting pretty scary right now. He's doing a lot of damage, as you saw that Hellbringer got half HP, I think he took in one hit.
Yep.
Coming out of the crit. And was that a buffed hit? I believe it was a buffed hit. A
Yep.
true strike. So it was true strike, but it still does a lot of damage.
So we're waiting here. I believe pizza calls, says Gimli.
Damn pizza. Damn pizza.
That's right.
Wait, what day is it today?
Tuesday.
It is Cheap Tuesday. No, I better not. I better not.
For those of you just tuning in, if you have just tuned in, shout out. Oh, if you've been here the whole time, then shout out to you, of course. If you're just tuning in, welcome. This is the Non-Fiction Gaming CyberGamer Invite League Finals. Obviously casted here with NFG HoN, best of 5. My name's Dan. Joining me is Mangy, and very exciting match so far. 8-19, still very much in favour of Seraphic Nexus, which we sort of touch on a lot. But that Nomad, as you said, is getting quite scary. 337 gold per minute, level 3 shield breakout, moving on towards a shrunken head. And after he gets that shrunken head, you know, he's only really got to worry about that rally and the scout. Now, granted, those are heroes you still really want to worry about. But he's not going to get locked down. And then
Scout has a brutalizer now, though. So.
Oh, really? Oof.
Yeah, that was picked up. I don't know if he has it on him yet.
It's
Maybe
on the courier. It's on the
It
courier.
is, yeah. So there is a brutalizer there. So that will be locked down for the Nomad. But again, Scout is pretty low health. You know, like only has 1100 HP, and Nomad can take that out in what 3 hits, I think. If he gets a nice ulti off with a true strike combo, that is probably going to be you know, massive. And I think Scout will drop to that. And again, I think pretty much anyone on this Hellborn side could drop to that combination. In saying that, they do have a lot more farmed heroes. You do see what a 11k gold lead. You've got Scout that's sitting on 364 as the 364 GPM as the suicide hero, as opposed to the counterpart being on 228. You've got that Magnus that was the farmer in the top lane at 400 GPM, as opposed to the 374 GPM on the Nomad. And Nomad's really the only one that's taken off at all on the Legion side.
While we're still in the pause, guys, I might try and go to a quick Who's That Hero? I think we can manage 40 seconds or so. So just bear with us. We're going to get some more stuff happening to keep you entertained while apparently pizza is getting organised.
Feckin' pizza.
Who's that hero? It's
Gunblade. Point, click, bang, dead.
So obviously we're back. It was, in fact, Gunblade. So I'm sure you all knew.
Quite a possibility. We won't know for what, 6 minutes?
Yep. But even if you don't know, we still love you guys.
I don't think I called the Gunblade. I'm not 100%.
While we are in a pause, I just want to give a shout out to... Well, we gave a shout out to Seraphic_Nexus before, but shout out to their sponsor, Turtle Beach, for actually sponsoring Seraphic Nexus. So going forward, they're going to have some Turtle Beach headsets, which is kind of cool. It's good to see an Australian team getting a bit of... getting their name out there a little bit, as we are getting back into the game. Just quietly, if you know, Wild Turkey or Turtle Beach want to sponsor the main G and I, we are available. We're available to receive.
We're going to be reaching greater crowds very shortly. So
Very shortly, as in like in a couple of
tomorrow.
hours. We see a potential Kong attempt. Actually,
Wow, Scout actually getting red sniped and put on such low health. Luckily, did not get bashed by the Kong there. That could have been very, very awkward. Again, look at the amount of counter wards that they have around this Kong area. Just the sheer fact that they spent so much time warding this up and counter warding it gives the Legion just gives the Legion the notion that they're going to be doing Kongor. So, Legion does get a couple of wards up. A nice actually side ward there. I like that position. He did end up putting that in, and he does counter water ward that was on the hill. Same point.
You got to remember, this is the third game in a best of 5. So if Seraphic Nexus take this one out, they are going to take home the money. Well, both teams are taking home money, but Seraphic Nexus will take home twice the amount of money. $300 versus $150. Obviously, Australian dollars for the Australian scene, not too bad, I believe, when it comes to prize pools, but it couldn't be done without you guys obviously tuning in and keeping us entertained in the chat and making it worthwhile for everyone who has chipped in the past to get this season underway. It's definitely an exciting one. 8-19. We're getting close to that 28.5-minute mark. 10,500 gold lead in favour of Seraphic.
Nomad picks up that BKB as well.
Nomad picking up that shrunken head. And you look at him there doing like 230, 300 damage, depending on if he's doing that advanced...
That wandering crit.
Strike, yeah. Tempest, his farm has recovered to a certain extent after picking up that portal key. He's still on those little striders though, so not doing the best. And here we go with the Kong attempt. Seraphic Nexus trying to get this one to seal the deal for this game. And I'm not sure if the Legion team know what's happening. They do have a Luna ready to throw a power throw in there, I want to say. Is she going to do it? Grimoire picked up on Magnus. That's got to be exciting.
I love the Grimoire. I love it. I think, again, why didn't he have the Searing Light at any point in this game? That helps him farm. Helps him farm faster.
Shout out to Nfank, who actually just said in the chat, if he's been reading my Magnus guide, he could be saving for Grimoire.
Yeah.
Say she actually gets the Kongo kill.
I actually thought that he was on the Legion side for a second because he portal keyed in so aggressively there. So Gimli just doing a bit of a troll stun there. But Seishi does pick up that kill in the end. Has the token of life.
What do you
has
think
a
of
basher,
it?
has an abyssal skull.
What do you think of it being on that scout as opposed to the rally? Who again, you know,
I think it's a lot better to put on the scout.
Yeah.
Rally did go a Helm of the Black Legion. Has a barrier idol. Scout's got 1,300, 1,400 HP with a lot of the team's damage right now. Especially with that basher and abyssal skull, you definitely want that scout being alive. And Scout's one of those targets that can just get picked off so easily. Rally's a hero that, you know, you kind of want it tanky enough to be, like, play it out of position just a little bit, you know? You want the team to go for the Rally because he can compel out, he can, you know, survive. And, again, Scout's not one of those heroes that does survive if he does get caught out. So I completely agree with the pickup, the token pickup on the Scout, as opposed to the Rally.
They're going to take out this tier 2 tower here. Legion team doesn't want to fight it, which is probably the wise move. They're going to try and turtle in the base a little bit here. Plague Rider's pushed up in the middle lane, so I'm not sure whether he's waiting for them to try and commit. No, he's going to teleport back into the well. And Tempest putting a little bit of pressure on this tier 1 tower in the bot lane.
He needs to get back and gear up for a fight here. He has his ult up, and like, sure, he pushed that bot tower, but he could have been back by now.
They do grab the rally though, and the Devourer throwing a lot of damage onto him. The Panzer Armor doing what it can. Barrier Idol being popped. Eruption from Magnus not really hitting anyone, and it looks like he's taking a lot of damage from that Nomad with that shrunken head. Magnus will fall. And so
beautiful Plague Rider ulti there, hitting everyone.
Great Tempest ultimate, but it does get cancelled again straight away. Rally's going to get out of there with a Compel. Hellbringer not going to be so lucky, and it looks like Master of Arms not going to be so lucky either. And it looks like Being Ian have defended this one. Scout's going to come back in and get a cheeky kill onto that Aluna, and he is going to try and turn around this Nomad, who obviously that Basher, along with the Seismic Slam, Nomad's going to go down, and that's going to be huge. So it looks like the Hellborn team, after a little bit of a hasty retreat, turn it around again, and could be ready to push back into this base. Tempest ulti's down, Plague Rat ulti's down, and they're the only heroes alive. Scout still with the token. Rally are forced to be reckoned with, and Magnus obviously in those front lines. I think it was a buyback from Nomad there. He's going to try and do huge amounts of damage to that rally. Combo breaker being in time and it getting triggered by that compel, I believe. Tempest trying to get back to the well. He gets sniped out by the scout though, and Magmus probably not going to be so lucky. He will get nuked again. Portal key coming up in 1 second. He auto attacks coming out and a red power throw. Red power throw from Harry Pottery, sealing the deal onto Gimli there. 13 to 23. They do lose the base tower, but they save the racks. Force buybacks on Aluna and Nomad though.
I'm not sure if you saw it, but the reason that Magmus couldn't get a good ulti off in that position was the fact that he got red power sniped as well, just as he was channeling his ulti, so he couldn't PK in and just got stunned for a second and sat there, couldn't really get a nice ulti off, which was a big factor to them winning the team fight early. Of course, it did get swung into the Hellborn's favor when the scout took over and started busting out the damage, but in the end, you know, they did save the racks, and I think that was a huge, I don't know the word for it, but like that was a huge factor in it. We do see Scout pulling up 5k gold again. I just, like, he doesn't have like a great deal of room for his items, and I can kind of see it here, but you know,
I think he can drop the Energizer now.
He can get rid of the Energizer, especially with Master of Arms having an Energizer, for sure. But I just don't approve of pulling up 5k gold when you can use it for a team fight, especially when you're not saving for buybacks. Like, it's not desperation buybacks that you're looking for. I don't understand why. What's the need to pull up this much gold?
Then again, though, you just saw that last team fight. While Scout wasn't quite targeted down, the rest of the Hellborn team did melt pretty quickly. If Scout does get taken down for some reason and loses the token, gets taken down again, having that money for a buyback, not the worst move in the world. He does buy a Savage Mace right now then,
Yeah,
having
so
said
he
that.
ends up getting a Savage Mace, yep. The Savage actually got nerfed a little bit too, so I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference.
Double stun, double stun and a disarm.
Yeah.
The Scout is going to be...
Scout is pretty big. Really, really big.
Nomad bought a broadsword. Does this mean he's going for a Shroud 35 minutes in?
He quite possibly could be. I wouldn't see him buying anything else right now. So it looks like a Shroud will come into play. I don't think it's the best item choice, especially in the situation that they're in. Against the Scout too, with the electric eyes.
Scout is playing a bit boldly as well, knowing he has that token. Hook just missing from Devour, unfortunately. That Soldier getting in the way. That could have been huge. At least kicking off the team fight at the very least. But I don't know. He is going obviously all out damage. That Shroud doing that, but I don't know. I'd prefer to see something else come out of him, but I guess Roger Dodger and being in, they're on the ropes now. They're just going to try and go all out damage, see what they can do. And the hook's just missing by B's dick right there onto that Magmus. OMFG not having the best of luck with them today.
Yeah, again, I keep mentioning when we see the Devourer is one of those heroes that picks up kills if he lands the hooks. Scout having that token, sitting at the front of this fight, trying to get a bit of damage put onto him, trying to put a bit of pressure onto the tower, but, you know, the Legion side is doing a really good job of, you know, nuking down these creep waves and just keeping out of their base, which is exactly what they need to do. They do have that Tempest with the ulti arm, but as we've seen before, that Hellbringer's been on the ball. He's standing way back in these fights, and he's cancelling it instantly. This Tempest is not getting an ulti off.
Oh, Rally Compel onto that Nomad. Nomad's the one he locks down. Shrunken Head being activated there. Great Magmus Eruption coming in. There goes the Play Carrier trying to do what he can, but the Shaman's Headdress and that Barrier Rattle. Scout does fall, though. He's going to pop back up with the token. His team is nearby. The hook just missing again. And Master of Arms and Scout decided to just put a bit of damage onto that melee racks, popping that defensive, obviously that fortification. And ports are coming into the front lines here from the well. Huge Tempest ultimate actually catching that Hellbringer this time. Magma's going to try and stun in, and there goes that Malphus right over the top. Combo Breaker actually catching 3 of them, I believe, and then that Nomad is tearing up as he can. Scout trying to do what he can with the Disarm and the Savage Mace Basher procs, but Nomad proving to be a little bit too powerful. Scout goes down, and Nomad ends up helping out, getting a double tap, Genocide, and that's put being in back in the game. They've defended the racks there You better hope Nomad doesn't die to some creeps right here. But
I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine.
Great,
that was
great genocide.
insane. That was insane. Nomad doing immense amounts of damage there. I don't think there was any buybacks used that fight either. I think the only person that bought back was Did Magnus buy back there? Or was that earlier?
I think that might have been earlier.
Yeah. That's just... Yeah, wow. I can't believe that the Legion managed to pull that one off. It was a combination of a great Tempest ulti and just this a huge Nomad ulti. Nomad doing so much damage currently, sitting at 450 GPM, but the passive, he ends up getting a Shroud along with his BKB. I think it has been a bit of a mistake, this Scout not going for a BKB. Went pretty much pure damage, you know, and he's, like, he did have a token before, but he's only got 1600 HP. You know, not a great deal of armor. Yeah. He's definitely suffering for not getting some sort of magic resistance.
The team's trying to just get some warding happening, or some counter warding at the very least. And Seraphic Nexus might be in a position here where they just essentially wait for that next Kong. Scout getting sped in to the back lines there, has an Energizer to get back as well, but he's going to be okay for now. Now, do you think being in need to try and push this, or do they just need to keep putting some more farm onto this Nomad? He's got that Shroud, Shield Breaker, and Savage Mace. Oh, not Savage Mace, sorry, Shrunken Head. You know, what is the next item you pick up on a level 23 Nomad?
It's hard to say. He could finish off a Genjuro if he felt the need. I wouldn't mind seeing a Demonic come out from somebody. And Nomad, you know, it's a viable candidate to get a Soul's Bulwark now and work towards a Demonic. So I'd like to see something like that come out. I really think they need it. They're up against a Rally, a Master of Arms, a Scout, and they don't have a Soul's Bulwark. I think that's a huge misplay. Just bad decision from being Ian at this point. So I hope to see a Souls come out, and that quite possibly could go onto this Nomad if he doesn't end up opting for that Ganjuro.
And now they're throwing out a Kongor attempt. Master of Arms, you got to remember, has an eye. With the changes to the eye, he's popped it there using that reveal range, so he can counter ward a little bit. I don't think being in knows this is happening.
Can't stop it now at this point anyway. So they will take that Kongor. Scout's going to pick up that token again. He doesn't have that much survivability, but with the token, you know, I think they're going to go for a push top. I don't think they need to in particular. It's hard to say who has the late game in this one. I think the Scout and the Master of Arms should be able to take it, even though this Master of Arms is being played as a support currently.
We are seeing a bit of an epic match. 40 and a half minutes in, 18 to 25. You see Scout here, he's got that lifesteal, two different kinds of bash, and obviously the disarm as well. And they all they need to do is really lock down that Nomad, as that's the bulk amount of the damage from that Legion team.
Yeah.
Plague Rider is still doing a lot, no doubt, with the...
they don't need to worry about the Plague too much, but they in saying that they don't have a BKB on the Scout either, though.
Yeah,
so
they do have that barrier rattle, and Rally's been pretty consistent getting that out as soon as the Plague pops that ulti, so that diffuses a lot of that damage. 400 magic damage per person, so...
I think they either need to pick the Nomad or the Tempest off at this point. Those are the priority targets. Obviously, you want to get rid of that Tempest so the Tempest can't get a good ulti off. After the ult's down, you're not too worried about the Tempest at all. You do have the Disable from Devourer, but it's not a great deal of damage. It's really the Nomad and the Tempest that they have to worry about. Whereas on the Hellborn side, they have that Scout. You know, you want to take the Scout out, but he's got a token. You want to take the Rally out because he's got a lot of Disable and he's got his ulti, but you know he's pretty tanky. You want to take out the Hellbringer because he can cancel the ulti straight up on Tempest. But you know he's been playing in such a position that he's not in the way of getting picked off.
And he's
really.
close to getting a refresher stone, it looks like.
Yeah. Close to a refresher stone, level 14. I'm keen to see 6 Malphus. I'm not sure about you, Dan, but I want to see 6 of them running around. Scout actually, I think I saw him pick up a BKB. I'm not yet. There we go.
Is the
so
stun?
He does get that.
Is the stun from the Summon Malphus still superior, or is it?
Yes, it is superior. It is superior. Plague Rider. Is that a refresher on Plague Rider?
Plague Rider picked up a refresher. Tempest picked up a refresher. I think it's going to be...
The next fight is going to be huge. And, look at that. Hellbringer refresher as well. We've got 3 refreshers. The refresher orb did get changed in a really good way, I think. It's the combination of what your cooldowns are.
Oh, sorry, Nomad getting caught out of position here. Popping that shrunken head, but getting locked down by that Scout. The Scout actually getting thrown up in the air there, popping a shrunken head of his own. Devourer does not give a fuck though. Nomad doing huge amounts of damage. Big stun coming out from that lava surge. Summon Malphus is in the mix of it as well. Devourer's going to try and fall back but fail. Nomad, Devourer are down for the rest of this, and the rest of the Legion team are going to fall back. No buybacks available for the for the Legion team, and this is Seraphic Nexus. This is their time to push. They've got the token.
Scout actually picked up the regen from the bottle on Rally as well, so he's back to full HP. They're just going to go straight top, get this backdoor coming. They do have the... Oh, actually, yeah, they do have Malphus ulti up still. Magnus goes in straight onto the Plague Rider. Plague Rider got cycloned up, but still is going to drop. And it looks like they're just going to take this Rax. There's nothing that the Legion can do right now, especially with no buybacks on the Nomad. So, we do have that Tempest up. Tempest does have the ulti, does have the refreshing ulti. But Plague Rider is down. They just don't have the damage, even if Tempest does pull off a decent ulti right now.
And Gimli playing very, very aggressively onto that Tempest just to force them back and buy his team room to focus on the barracks. And that's a great tactic there, because they don't want that Tempest to even just hold them in place. You know, if they held them in place for a double ulti, yeah, they may defend the rack. Scout actually getting cooked.
Here comes the ulti.
And the ulti ends up being a single ulti. Gets cancelled straight away by another 2 Malphus.
There's the second ulti coming out, but nothing is going to come of that one. We do have Nomad in the fray right now doing immense amounts of damage. Takes down that Scout. He does have the token though. A hook onto the Hellbringer. But disarm and just huge amounts of damage coming out from Scout right now.
Devourer getting away on a bee's digger health essentially. Nomad not going to be so lucky. And that, I think, is the GG well played. So that's going to go in favor of Seraphic Nexus, 3-0. And they take out the CyberGamer Invite League 2013. They're going to take out that first place. Being in, taking out that second place. Huge match though either way. Very well played by both teams leading up to that final match. But Seraphic Nexus just proving... getting those little picks off where they could, and making that game theirs.
Yeah, again, GG well played. Seraphic did a great job there. They kept control of the map. They kept the farm on the map. Like they had it all, and that's what ultimately led to their victory. I think they had a bit of a better laning phase as well. They did shut down that Tempest early game, so it did slow the Tempest down a lot. And again, the Nomad, props to the Nomad, doing a lot of work, you know, trying to bring his team back into the game, but just wasn't enough. And Scout was just a bit too big with those, you know, the mini stun, the bash, the abyssal skull, and finally he did end up getting that shrunken head, which was the item that allowed them to take that lead and take those team fights at the end, I think.
I think part of it as well, that Nomad getting caught out right at the end and getting locked down.
And no buyback, unfortunately. So they lost 2 racks just because of 1 pick, and that's got to hurt. That's just really disappointing for the Hellborn side, but sorry, for the Legion side. But again, well played by Seraphic Nexus, and unlucky to Frey. You did a good job.
Yeah, so being Ian, or Frey, aka ZUTE, still coming in second there for the CGI finals, and we've still got a bronze match to come up over the next few days, which is going to be XZ versus Myth Esports. That's still going to be exciting. There's still a little bit of money on the line for that one, but at the end of the day, Seraphic Nexus taking home $300, and being Ian, taking out $150 for the team. So congratulations to both guys, and obviously thank you for putting on an epic best of 5 series. Could have gone very much either way right there. That Nomad being so powerful once he had that shroud and all that damage, and end up just swinging in favour of Seraphic Nexus, just methodical there, taking out the hit kills where they could. And thanks to you guys for tuning in. Shout out to you guys who have made all that possible. Now we're going to be streaming tomorrow morning, Mangy.
Yeah, 3 a.m. for us. So in approximately 4.5 hours, I believe,
roughly. Yeah.
So for Stay Green, so Team Stay Green. If you haven't followed their channel, go to their channel and follow that. We'll be on there bright and early, casting some live scrims. So that's something a lot of people would probably be interested in. Again, we do have Slicks, who is in Australia. He does have a lot of ping, but he is suffering with us if you do end up getting up in that early time.
And I want to give a shout out to the cityhunter.com.au. There's another Oz tournament coming up. It's a Sydney tournament. It's going to be a LAN. And we'll be casting some of that, I believe, in June, on June 1st. So make sure you hit that follow button. And we can see some more of you. We're going to leave you there with another Who's That Hero, and potentially I'll see if I can chuck up that Stay Green video as well. Pretty excited about that one. And yeah, so I guess we'll catch you guys tomorrow morning on Team Stay Green.
Shooters in the front, shooters in the
Who's that hero? It's
Moon Queen.
You just got moon.